Chapter 1145. The Tsangyan monarch's expression changed drastically. He felt as if he was facing a huge mountain. No matter which direction he retreated to, he would be met with a saber strike. Unable to retreat, the Tsangyan monarch could only face Summer City's attack head-on. The Tsangyan monarch's weapon was a long sword. He brandished his long sword and stabbed towards Summer City's saber. Space shattered. Let's go. As the two weapons clashed, the area where the weapons clashed was filled with spatial cracks. The Tsangyan monarch was then pushed back a certain distance. Summer City held his saber with his right hand, and his body seemed to have changed positions. He was still at the same distance from the Tsangyan monarch. He slashed towards the Tsangyan monarch again. There was no way to dodge or escape. This was what the Tsangyan monarch felt at this moment. His opponent was too strong. Helpless, he could only use his sword to block the attack. However, he was still pushed back. The Tsangyan monarch's hair was sent flying, and the energy in his body was unstable. Xia Cheng's body once again moved absent-mindedly. When he reached a suitable distance, he once again slashed out with his saber. Universe's 7 kills. Let's see how many moves you can take. Summer City's voice was filled with contempt. The Tsangyan monarch was not his opponent at all. With a loud boom, the Tsangyan monarch's body was sent flying. Blood spurted from his mouth. 3 slashes. Summer City only used 3 slashes to send the Tsangyan monarch flying. The two of them were not on the same level at all. At this moment, Summer City's saber technique suddenly changed. He slashed his saber at an extremely fast speed. This saber seemed to carry the trajectory of the heavens, and the saber light slashed across the Tsangyan monarch's head. A red line appeared on the Tsangyan monarch's head. Following which, his body was split into 2. Summer City reached out and grabbed the Tsangyan monarch's interspatial ring and weapon. He then turned to look at Night Sorrow and said, "I didn't kill him completely. He still has a clone or something like that." When a high-level cultivator killed an opponent, they would check whether the opponent's storage ring and weapon were ownerless or not. Since the soul imprint in the Tsangyan monarch's storage ring and weapon was still present, it meant that the Tsangyan monarch was still alive. Regardless of whether it's the original body or the doppelganger, it's a huge loss for him. That's enough. Night Sorrow nodded and turned to look at the battlefield. Right now, the battle was completely one-sided. Fei Xiu and Monarch Sky Scorpio were fighting fiercely, completely suppressing Monarch Sky Scorpio. Monarch Black Heaven and Monarch Sea Billow joined forces to attack Monarch Demon Moon. Monarch Demon Moon was also in a difficult situation. The Tianding King, the Big Dipper King, and the king that the Sea Wave Monarch had brought with him started attacking the Tsangyan monarch's men. Night Sorrow did not move from the beginning to the end because he was not needed. "Your Highness, who else do you want to kill?" Summer City was filled with killing intent. "The outcome has been decided. Uncle Xia, you don't have to do anything." Night Sorrow shook his head. He was considering the fact that the other sovereigns had their own opponents. If Summer City were to fight now, it would be an unfair victory, and it would hurt the other sovereign's reputation. After the Demon Moon Monarch could not withstand the pressure, his body swayed and a doppelganger appeared. The doppelganger blocked the Sea Wave Monarch while the original body charged towards the Black Heaven Monarch. Originally, the Black Heaven Monarch was slightly stronger than the Sea Wave Monarch. However, the Black Heaven Monarch's doppelganger had just been destroyed by the others. The Black Heaven Monarch's original body was still affected. After charging at the Black Heaven Monarch a few times, the Demon Moon Monarch's body flashed and he wanted to escape. The most important thing now was to stay alive. He had seen what happened to the Tsangyan monarch. If he could not escape, he would end up worse than the Tsangyan monarch. The Tsangyan monarch was not completely dead, but his original body and doppelganger were here. The Demon Moon Monarch was extremely fast. In a few flashes, he reached the inter-realm transfer array. "If you want to run, leave something behind." Seeing that the Black Heaven Monarch could not stop the Demon Moon Monarch from escaping, Summer City waved his saber again. Block! The Demon Moon Monarch threw out a blue array disc. With a swing of his arm, a Saint Spirit Stone was embedded in the Interrealm Transfer Array. Shatter! The blue array disc was shattered by Summer City's saber aura. The saber aura continued to slash towards the Demon Moon Monarch. The Demon Moon Monarch's expression changed drastically. He waved the long sword in his hand to block Summer City's saber. The Interrealm Transfer Array had been activated. This was his only chance to escape. With a crisp sound, the Demon Moon Monarch's long sword was knocked aside. He was unwilling to leave the Interrealm Transfer Array, but he could not withstand it. This was the result. After knocking the Demon Moon Monarch's longsword aside, Summer City's saber aura continued to fly and cut off the Demon Moon Monarch's waist and one of his thighs. The Interrealm Transfer Array took away the Demon Moon Monarch's miserable cries and half of his body. Too bad I didn't kill him. Summer City snorted coldly. He did not chase after the Demon Moon Monarch because he had to protect Night Sorrow. Don't worry. He's probably afraid of death now. He won't dare to come out easily, Night Sorrow said. At this time, the Sea Wave Monarch and the Black Heaven Monarch had also killed the Demon Moon Monarch's doppelganger. Then, the two of them entered the King's battle group and started to kill the King's group that was formed by the Demon Moon Domain, the Grey Cloud Sect, and the Sky Scorpion Domain. As for the other peak battle group, it was the battle between Fei Xiu and the Sky Scorpion Sovereign. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign was very strong, but he was completely suppressed by Fei Xiu and was severely injured. It was only a matter of time before he was killed. At this time, the transfer array flashed and the Divine Night Sovereign appeared. Seeing this scene, he sighed because he could not stop it. Divine Night Sovereign, I was bewitched. Please help me talk to the Divine Night Sovereign. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign, who was in a sorry state, shouted at the Divine Night Sovereign. The Divine Night Sovereign's appearance gave him hope to live. If no one talked to him, he would definitely die. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Now, Night Sorrow is in charge. I can't do anything about it. The Divine Night Sovereign was helpless. Back then, he had tried to persuade him but failed. Night Sorrow, state your conditions. The Sky Scorpion Domain is willing to pay the compensation. If there is a war in the Sky Profound World in the future, the Sky Scorpion Domain will definitely fight. I am not the mastermind. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign shouted. Night Sorrow, why don't we listen to his explanation? If he can give a perfect explanation, then we can talk. The Divine Night Sovereign looked at Night Sorrow and said. He also did not want the 9 Firmament World Group to lose too much strength. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and waved his arm. Fei Xiu and the others retreated. State your conditions. Night Sorrow looked at the Sky Scorpion Sovereign and said. Compensation, I am willing to pay the compensation. Also, if there is a war in the Sky Profound World, I will definitely help. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign said. Xian Tian Sovereign, what do you think? Night Sorrow looked at the Xian Tian Sovereign and asked. You make the decision. I have no objections. The Xian Tian Sovereign nodded at Night Sorrow. They were able to win this war because of Night Sorrow. He naturally had to respect Night Sorrow. Then let's sign the oath. The Sky Scorpion Domain will be dealt with like this for the time being. The Demon Moon Domain and Ashen Cloud Sect still need to be dealt with. Fei Xiu, go to the Demon Moon Domain and meet up with the Qing Emperor's guards. The rest of you, follow me to the Ashen Cloud Sect. This time, I will raise the Ashen Cloud Sect to the ground. Night Sorrow made his decision. The Ashen Cloud Sovereign and the Demon Moon Sovereign did not have any bottom line. Therefore, Night Sorrow would not give them another chance. Chapter 1146. Your Highness, don't worry. Resources. Collect all the resources and bring them to the 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu. Fei Xiu bowed and left the mysterious sky world using the interrealm teleportation formation. After watching Lord Xian Tian and Lord Sky Scorpio sign the oath, Night Sorrow brought Summer City and the people around him to the Sky Dome world. Lord Divine Night was a little stunned. He didn't expect this outcome. Originally, in his estimation, the Celestial Wonders world would be attacked as the Lord of the Xian Heaven avoided the soul cultivation liquid. After a few years, the Lord of the Xian Heaven cultivated the soul cultivation liquid, then the situation would change. But now, he could not react in time. Sky Scorpio, you have disappointed me this time, Lord Divine Night said to Lord Sky Scorpio. In order to increase my strength, Sky Scorpio is a little obsessed. It won't happen again in the future, Lord Sky Scorpio bowed. Lord Divine Night nodded and left. He knew that the situation in the Nine Cloud World Group would change greatly. Night Sorrow could control the situation. After Lord Purple Cloud obtained the soul cultivation liquid, he told Lord Divine Night. From this, Lord Divine Night knew that other lords of the Nine Cloud World had obtained the soul cultivation liquid. These lords owed Night Sorrow a big favor. In the future, if Night Sorrow had anything to say, they would support him unconditionally. Lord Divine Night was very clear about the situation. Nine Cloud World had an independent position in the Nine Cloud World Group because he had refined the soul cultivation liquid and was stronger than the other lords. In the future, this situation would no longer be the case. Besides, he also felt the terror of Summer City. He wasn't a match for them. After Night Sorrow brought his people to the Ashen Cloud sect, they started attacking. Those who resisted were killed. Those who didn't resist were taken. The Ashen Cloud sect ruled most of the Sky Dome world. Night Sorrow and the others started a realm war. There was no resistance, as resistance meant that they would be killed. Because Night Sorrow and the others had acted quickly, not many of the Grey Cloud sect's resources could be transferred. Almost all of them had fallen into Night Sorrow's hands. When he killed his way to the headquarters of the Grey Cloud sect, Night Sorrow met an acquaintance, Sang Guiyue, the very arrogant person from back then. Night Sorrow took out Skysplitter and finished him off in a few moments. The two of them were on completely different levels. Back then, they had both been half-step kings, but now, Night Sorrow was a two-star king. The difference was too great, and Sang Guiyue did not have the ability to resist. After that, Night Sorrow plundered the resources of the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters. Captain Shinhan, take some people to the Grey Cloud sect's branch and collect all the resources, Night Sorrow instructed. This was war. When the people of several worlds attacked the Profound Heaven world and the Xiantian Imperial Court, they did not hold back. It was a bloodbath. Night Sorrow and Summer City stayed at the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters. Night Sorrow was not worried about the people of the Demon Moon world. It was hard to say if the Demon Moon world lord would return. Even if he did, he might not dare to come out. Besides, so what if the Demon Moon monarch came out? He was not a match for Fei Xiu. Even if he came out, he would be killed. Every day, news would be reported to Night Sorrow. Every day, there would be small captains of the City Guard army coming to deliver resources to Night Sorrow. Half a month after Night Sorrow set up camp, no beginning sovereign came. Ignoring sovereign brought black wind with him. At this moment, Chen Bai and Qing Yin were still cultivating. Although he was unhappy, Night Sorrow still received him. As if he could feel Night Sorrow's dissatisfaction, no beginning sovereign looked apologetic. After receiving the resources you gave me, my original body closed its spiritual consciousness and cultivated. My clone went to another world. Therefore, I did not make it in time to stop the Grey Cloud sect. Night Sorrow, it's true. I need materials. I need a material to cultivate a special clone. Master went to help me with this matter and is not in the Sky Dome world, Black Wind said to Night Sorrow. So that's the case. Then I misunderstood. Men, serve tea, Night Sorrow shouted. In fact, Night Sorrow was unhappy. He had given a few sovereigns the soul cultivation liquid, but no one came to help the profound heaven world at the crucial moment. Genuine initialer, no matter what, I am sorry, no beginning sovereign apologized again. No matter who gets the soul cultivation liquid, they will put everything aside to cultivate. They will do everything to increase their strength. At this stage, they do not want to be disturbed. Knight Sorrow nodded. Some things were just emotions. However, he understood that anyone who got the soul cultivation liquid would make such a decision. Knight Sorrow, I have another request this time. It is about the Grey Cloud sect. I don't care about the resources. However, the Sky Dome world needs stability, no beginning sovereign said as he stood up. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow nodded, all right, I will ask my men to withdraw. You can take over the Grey Cloud sect. I thank you here. Here are some resources from Boundless Mountain. Consider it compensation. No beginning sovereign took out 2 storage rings and placed them in front of Knight Sorrow. There is no need. Boundless Mountain cannot bear the consequences of the Grey Cloud Sovereign's sins. However, I do not wish for the Grey Cloud Sovereign to cause any more trouble. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He did not accept the resources. What I can guarantee is that he will not be allowed to form any more forces in the Sky Dome world, no beginning sovereign promised. No beginning sovereign left the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters with his disciples and the resources that Knight Sorrow refused. There is no big trouble. If there is, I will not be able to answer to him. After leaving the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters, no beginning sovereign sighed. How long has it been? This fellow is doing so well. The strength of his subordinates is so strong. Haifeng's face was filled with shock. They used to be friends. However, the gap between them was too big. He did not even have the chance to speak. Fate. Back then, he went to the world of reincarnation to serve the Azure Imperial Dynasty for the sake of the 9 Firmament World Group. That's why he had another fate. He fought for the 9 Firmament World Group, which means that he was blessed with good karma and luck. There's no benefit in fighting against him. That old man beside him is an absolute expert. The Tsangyan sovereign's true body was killed. What survived should be a secret technique clone. Although it can still survive, it won't be able to improve much in the future. Moon Demon Realm Lord also suffered great losses this time. No beginning sovereign also disliked the Grey Cloud Sovereign. For the sake of the Sky Dome world's strength, he had been enduring. Now, he had fallen. This old fellow is usually too arrogant. This time, he kicked an iron plate. The only good thing is that he is sharpening his head. Serves him right. Haifeng scolded. Go back and enter seclusion. Work hard. Originally, you were the same. Now, look at the difference. No beginning sovereign glanced at Haifeng. Knight Sorrow stood in front of the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters and thought. He felt that the Grey Cloud Sovereign was still a scourge. Chapter 1147. Your Highness, it's no trouble at all. We'll kill whoever dares to fight us. Summer City's words were very domineering, and so were his people. It's easy to dodge a stab in the dark, but hard to guard against a stab in the dark. Not being able to kill those 2 fellows this time will always be a disaster. They are sovereigns, and they all have tempers. They might not be able to take this lying down, Knight Sorrow said. The Grey Cloud Sovereign and the Moon Devil Sovereign had suffered great losses this time, but after recovering, they might think of ways to take revenge. This was all possible. Summer City didn't say anything. He agreed with this point, but there was no good way to solve it now. The sovereigns were hiding, and there was no way to find them. Thank you, Uncle Summer. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to get through this. Even if I attacked their world, I wouldn't be able to solve the root of the crisis. Knight Sorrow bowed to Summer City. Summer City shook his head. He knew that even if Night Sorrow didn't use the power of the world of reincarnation, the crisis of the heaven-profound world would only last a few hundred years. Uncle Summer, I asked if you needed elixirs last time, but I didn't ask if you needed the soul cultivation liquid, Night Sorrow said. I don't need it. I've used it with His Majesty. Summer City shook his head. After staying for a few days, the matter of the Grey Clouds sect was settled. Night Sorrow brought the city guards and the people around him back to Seven Night City. Grey Clouds sect had Boundless Mountain to deal with the aftermath, but the Moon Devil world couldn't. Fei Xiu still had to bring the Qing Emperor's guards to kill in the Moon Devil world and collect resources. Night Sorrow stayed in Seven Night City and didn't have much to do. The Black Heaven Sovereign arranged for Qian Zhenyu to rebuild the Black Heaven Sovereign City. He also stayed in Seven Night City. Although he was in a hurry to cultivate, he didn't mind spending a few days here and there. He was very grateful to Night Sorrow. It was Night Sorrow's soul cultivation liquid that gave the Black Heaven Sovereign a chance to rise. Now that there was a problem, it was Night Sorrow who solved it, saving him from having to hide. Night Sorrow considered letting his main body cultivate in the Nine Heavens Pagoda later. If his main body's cultivation did not increase, then the Nine Domains world's tribulation would never be resolved. As for Night Sorrow's decision, Summer City did not comment on it. He was also in a difficult position. He was protecting Night Sorrow, but both Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger required protection. He had no time to protect both of them. Summer City was a stubborn person. He felt that the strength of the main body was the most important, so for the past countless years, he had not cultivated a clone. In half a month's time, Fei Xiu brought the Qing Emperor's guard back to Seven Night City. The Demon Moon world was completely destroyed by him. Night Sorrow held a celebratory feast. This was a big event, so a celebratory feast had to be held. Night Sorrow sat with his family and drank casually. He was very relaxed. Sometimes, things just happened so suddenly that they were not expected at all. Qing Lin came, and he did not come alone. He brought a large group of people with him. There were also a few old men beside him. Crown Prince Qing Lin, how come you have time to come here? Night Sorrow felt that something was wrong. He felt that Qing Lin did not come with good intentions. Brother Yi, you have disappointed me. The Qing Emperor's Guard and the city guards are the power of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They are in the Nine Heavens Pagoda to protect you, but they have to fight for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. What are you doing? Bringing the power of the Qing Emperor's dynasty to protect you and rob people? Qing Lin's words were filled with pity at the beginning, but he was shouting at the end. Night Sorrow's hometown is under attack. His Highness came back to fight. As a subordinate, I naturally have to protect him. Summer City stepped forward and said, Commander Xia, you don't have to get involved in this matter. Today, I came here with the supervisor of the Overwatch Council of the Qing Emperor Palace to deal with this matter, Shen Guanhong said, his long and narrow eyes shining brightly. You should assist your crown prince. Night Sorrow's matter is none of your business, Summer City said coldly. I usually assist the crown prince, but I am also the master of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I am in charge of the Overwatch Council. The master's order was given by His Majesty. The crown prince is the head of the princes and has the responsibility to control the two princes and the princes. Summer City, are you going to go against His Majesty's order? Shen Guanhong took out a white jade plate from his sleeve. It was his master's order. How old is this plate? You are using it to scare me. Summer City's sword appeared in his hand. No matter how old it is His Majesty's order. Are you going to defy His Majesty? Shen Guanhong folded his arms and held the master's order in front of him. He wouldn't fight Summer City because he was at a disadvantage. He wanted to use the Qing Emperor's power to suppress Summer City. So what? His Majesty is His Majesty, but he is also my elder brother. Today, I will offend him. Summer City's hair stood on end. He was about to start a fight. Uncle Xia, let me take care of this. Night Sorrow pulled Summer City's sleeve. Your Highness, they are going to set you up. Summer City couldn't hold back his anger. +4 forever and forever unspecified currency, free Z-Watch, set me up. They dare to kill me. Night Sorrow smiled. As long as they can detain you, they will have achieved their goal. Summer City looked at Night Sorrow and said. That's right. Commander Xia is a wise man, Shangguanhong said with a smile. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, without the Qing Emperor, who could kill Night Sorrow? No one could do that. Shangguanhong's suggestion to Qinglin was to use righteousness to restrict and detain Yishang, and then take him back with great fanfare. This would cause Yishang's reputation to hit rock bottom. Even if he was released as soon as he was imprisoned, it would be enough. Shangguanhong didn't dare to do this, but when he was chatting with Xian Daozi, he accidentally learned that the Qing Emperor's intention for the princes to fight was to rely on their own abilities. The loser would survive. That was why he dared to do this. Uncle Xia, detaining me is just a blow to my reputation. This is nothing compared to the friendship and trust between Uncle Xia and His Majesty. I admit to detaining you. Night Sorrow looked at Summer City and said. Your Highness. As long as Your Highness doesn't agree, no one can detain you. Summer City didn't give up. Your Highness Qinglin, since you made the first move, I'll take it as a show of respect to His Majesty's children. After this, I won't have any scruples. Night Sorrow really wanted to say, the head of the princes is sandalwood. You don't have the right to say that. Brother Knight, how can you say that? I'm taking you back. I didn't say anything about doing anything to you. There's no need to be so extreme. Qinglin still had a smile on his face. You're not magnanimous enough. Today's matter will become your inner demon. Put away your face. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, Yishang's words were not polite. Men, take him. Qinglin's face twitched as he gave the order. Who dares? I will bring His Highness Night Sorrow to His Majesty. You don't have the right, Xia Hui said, waving his sword. Summer City, what are you doing? Are you looking down on His Majesty's master's order to manage the Overwatch Council? Shangguanhong turned around. He didn't use any energy, and the master's order was pointed at Summer City. Uncle Xia, it's nothing. Night Sorrow looked at Shangguanhong with a murderous look in his eyes. This kind of person was the most sinister. Now, he had found his and Summer City's weakness. Chapter 1148. At this time, an old man from the Overwatch Council stepped forward and chained Night Sorrow with a barbed chain. I'm sorry, Your Highness. As the old man apologized, he tightened the chain in his hand. He was Qinglin's confidant, so naturally, he would work for him. Die! Summer City roared and swung his sword. The old man was killed without any resistance. Commander Xia, are you rebelling? Qinglin's expression changed. You can say that to His Majesty. If you don't have His Majesty's token, then be careful with your words and actions. Summer City put away his sword and looked at Qinglin without respect. In the past, he had respected Crown Prince Qinglin. Now that he saw Qinglin's face, his attitude changed. Men, arrest the Qing Emperor's guards and the city guards of 9-story tower. Qinglin, who was embarrassed by Summer City's words, gave another order. How dare you? Even if there was a mistake this time, it was my personal mistake. Who dares to touch the people of 9-story tower? Everyone in 9-story tower, listen up. I admit to detaining them. Anyone who moves will be killed. I will bear the responsibility. Night Sorrow was furious when he heard that Qinglin was going to attack the people of 9-story tower. Your Highness, forget it. His Highness Night Sorrow said it was his responsibility. Just take His Highness Night Sorrow back. Shangguanhong said to Qinglin. He felt that the result of today's battle was pretty good. It was enough to detain Yishang. If they had fought, it would have been a big problem. Qinglin Crown Prince was looking for trouble today. Then I'll give you face. Qinglin looked at Knight Sorrow and said. Master, are you done with your work? Summer City asked. Yes. Thank you for His Highness Knight Sorrow and Commander Xia's cooperation. I'm done with my work. Shangguanhong's cold face had a smile because everything went smoothly. With Knight Sorrow's insistence, Summer City didn't get in the way. That means you don't represent His Majesty. Then die. Summer City drew his sword and slashed at Shangguanhong. Your Highness, quickly find His Majesty to stop him. He's gone mad. Shangguanhong split himself into several shadows and dodged in all directions. He knew that he could not fight against the forces of Summer City. He had to find Qing Emperor to stop them. Qinglin agreed. He didn't forget to ask his men to catch Knight Sorrow. Then he went to the transmitting formation and teleported to Xiantian City. Then he led his men to the world of Samsara. Seven Night City had a realm teleportation formation, but it was not open to the public at the moment. When Qinglin brought people here, they also used Xiantian City's teleportation formation. Taking Knight Sorrow to the world of Samsara, Qinglin told the people of the Overwatch Council to take Knight Sorrow to the busiest street, parade it a few times, and then throw him into the Devil's Ceiling Tower. After giving instructions to the people of the Overwatch Council, Qinglin went to the Qingtian Pavilion in the Qing Emperor Palace. He was also anxious. If Shangguanhong was really killed by Xia City, he would lose a big arm. After Qinglin left, an old man of the Overwatch Council sighed, Your Highness, I'm sorry. I'm Bai Han, a judge of the Overwatch Council. Today, Master came here with Master's order. We can only do things according to His Majesty's rules. It's okay. You're just following orders. I don't care about this. Knight Sorrow shook his head. I'll report this to His Majesty. You take His Highness to the Devil's Ceiling Tower through the most secluded road. Bai Han told the people of the Overwatch Council and then left. Bai Han and the people of the Overwatch Council knew what exactly happened today. They didn't want to participate in the fight for His Highness. Today, Shangguanhong had Master's order. They couldn't do anything. Now that Qinglin was gone, they naturally didn't want to offend Knight Sorrow too much. The people of the Overwatch Council took Knight Sorrow to the Devil's Ceiling Tower and handed him over to the Qing Emperor's guard. Forever. Look. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, key places were guarded by the Qing Emperor's guard. The Devil's Ceiling Tower was one of them. Ordinary prisoners weren't qualified to be locked up here. Only prisoners sent by the Overwatch Council were accepted by the Qing Emperor's guard. The leader of the Qing Emperor's guard who knew Knight Sorrow looked at Knight Sorrow with surprise and then anger. Your Highness, what's going on? No one can put shackles on you except His Majesty. You people of the Overwatch Council are crazy. It's nothing. They can't help it. Take me in. Can I go to the 9th floor? The other floors are wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Of course. The leader of the Qing Emperor's guard glanced at the people of the Overwatch Council, then took Knight Sorrow to the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Only sandalwood was locked up on the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower, but there were cells. Knight Sorrow glanced at Sandalwood, who was cultivating, and entered the meteorite cell. Crown Prince Qinglin arrived at the Azure Sky Pavilion, but the Qing Emperor didn't summon him. He paced back and forth anxiously. When he saw Bai Han, Qinglin's eyes were filled with confusion. He had ordered the Overwatch Council to parade Knight Sorrow through the streets, but Bai Han had arrived as soon as he did. Just as Qinglin was about to question him, Xian Daozi let them in. What's the matter? The Qing Emperor didn't even open his eyes as he sat on the prayer mat. The Master and Commander Xia are fighting. The Master has asked me to invite Father over, Qinglin said. Qinglin said. At this moment, he was very nervous. He had overstepped his authority by attacking Yishang. It was normal for Emperor Qing to punish him. Before this, he and Shen Guanhong had thought that it was worth it to damage Yi Shang's reputation and solidify his position as the first majesty. They're fighting. Who went to see who? The Qing emperor asked. The master went to see Commander Xia, Qing Lin said. He didn't dare lie about this, and no one dared to lie in front of the Qing emperor. If he went to see Summer City, then he should have prepared himself. He shouldn't have come to invite me. Take it on yourself, the Qing emperor huffed coldly. After asking who went to see who, the Qing emperor knew who was looking for trouble. Since Shen Guanhong was looking for trouble, he had to bear the consequences. Father, please step in and stop this. Otherwise, it will have a great impact on the Qing emperor's dynasty. Qing Lin knelt on the ground. He was a bit worried. If Shen Guanhong was killed, then the power of his subordinates would be greatly reduced. Your Majesty, they're all old people. Should we bring them back to deal with them? If this goes on for too long, I'm afraid Shen Guanhong won't be able to handle it, Xian Daozi said quietly. Qing Lin, lead the way. Xian Daozi, you go with him. Tell Summer City that I will give him justice. The Qing emperor thought for a moment and waved his hand. Xian Daozi took Qing Lin and left the Qing emperor's palace. Bai Han, why did you come to the Azure Sky Pavilion instead of your Overwatch Council? The Qing emperor looked at Bai Han and asked. I had no choice. The Overwatch Council was the first to bear the brunt of this storm. The master has the master's order that your majesty personally gave to us. The Overwatch Council has to follow orders, Bai Han said, kneeling on the ground. You're very resourceful. Otherwise, Summer City wouldn't have gone crazy. Tell me. What did you do to my disciple? The Qing emperor knew what was going on and asked directly. I followed orders and took him into the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Bai Han said quietly. His face was covered in sweat. Chapter 1149. If Summer City doesn't want to, no one can detain Night Sorrow. What exactly happened? Qing emperor looked at Bai Han. There were some things he couldn't understand. Master took the master's order and said that if Commander Xia tried to stop him, he wouldn't be giving his majesty any face and would be offending his majesty. That. Commander Xia said that your majesty is not only your majesty, but also his elder brother. It doesn't matter if he offends your majesty once. It's just that your majesty Night Sorrow doesn't allow Commander Xia to do so. Bai Han recounted the entire matter. You can't come see this emperor if you have something you can't do. Next time you're so brainless, I'll twist your head off. Qing emperor glared at Bai Han, stood up, and left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Night Sorrow entered the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Qing emperor's guard took off the chains on his body and threw them to the side. Even so, Night Sorrow's robes were full of holes from the barbs. He was in a sorry state. Your Highness, His Majesty will know about such a big matter very soon. Just wait for a moment. Qing Emperor's guard said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. It's nothing much. Commander, you can go back to your work. The commander nodded and left the cell. The cell doors still had to be locked. After all, this was the Devil's Ceiling Tower. The rules had to be followed. Someone, go inform His Majesty Night Sorrow to get a few jars of good wine to accompany me. Not long after Night Sorrow sat down, a roar came from the cell next door. Qing Emperor's guard was very embarrassed. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem, but now. Night Sorrow was in the cell. Senior brother. Eldest senior brother, I'm here. Night Sorrow stood in front of the railing and replied. On the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower, 3 sides of the cell were meteoric iron walls and 1 side was meteoric iron railing. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood couldn't see each other. Ha! What kind of trouble did you get yourself into? Tell me. Night Sorrow's reply was Sandalwood's hearty laughter. Eldest senior brother, this is your fault. How can you still laugh when I'm locked up? Night Sorrow retorted. Why can't I laugh? Master definitely doesn't know that you've been locked in here. Once Master knows, you'll be released. Besides, eldest senior brother is here. Later, eldest senior brother will personally take you out. Someone, inform His Majesty that I, Sandalwood, have recovered. If it's recovered, it's recovered. Is there a need to shout so loudly? Qing Emperor's figure appeared in the Devil's Ceiling Tower's dungeon. Although his face was as calm as an ancient well, he was the only one who knew the fluctuations in his heart. Godfather, Sandalwood has recovered. Sandalwood's voice was choked with emotion. Did you stop calling me Godfather after I had other children? Qing Emperor stood between Sandalwood and Night Sorrow's cells. After leaving the Devil's Ceiling Tower, you're still my master. I originally wanted to invite junior brother Night Sorrow to drink some wine in the Devil's Ceiling Tower and then leave this damned place. But look at this. Sandalwood gripped the metal bars and looked at Qing Emperor. Someone, let the two of them out. Also, set up a banquet here. The three of us will drink here. Qing Emperor ordered the leader of the Qing Emperor's guard. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow were released. Night Sorrow, look at you. Your eldest senior brother has been with me for countless years. Apart from this time when his body was in trouble, no one dared to say a word to him. But look at you. You've only been under my tutelage for a short while and you've already been thrown into the dungeon, Qing Emperor said as he sat down on the chair brought over by the leader of the Qing Emperor's guard. This disciple will work hard in the future. I won't disappoint you, Master, Night Sorrow said with a bow. Don't you have anything to say? Qing Emperor asked again. There's nothing to say. You should know by now, Master. Night Sorrow shook his head. Qing Emperor smiled. I've only had 2 personal disciples in my lifetime. You 2 should be the only ones. I'm well aware of your personalities. Sandalwood, you lead the 9 Heavens army in battle, but you don't have any official position in the Qing Emperor's palace. I understand why. Night Sorrow, I also understand why you didn't resist this time. But do you know what I'm thinking? Qing Emperor then explained his thoughts to his 2 disciples. The Qing Emperor's dynasty might not necessarily be his heir, but the heir had to be capable. Only then would the Qing Emperor's dynasty be stable. 4. Forever exempt from fee. See _Q. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood bowed. They understood Qing Emperor's thoughts. Sandalwood, what do you plan to do after you leave? Qing Emperor asked. The world is so big. I want to travel around. But before I leave, I'll stay with junior brother for a few days and help him with some matters. Then I'll serve the world's sovereign for a while. Master, I'm sorry. Although I haven't known junior brother for a long time, I admire him more, Sandalwood said. He was expressing his support for Night Sorrow. You've been suppressing yourself for too long. You should relax. Let's drink. Qing Emperor nodded. He understood that Sandalwood wanted to support Night Sorrow, but he didn't dislike it. While the 3 of them were drinking, Xian Daozi, Summer City, Shengguanhong, and the Crown Prince arrived. Xian Daozi wanted to say something, but Qing Emperor waved his sleeves and stopped him. He continued drinking with Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. In the blink of an eye, the wine brought by Qing Emperor's guards was gone. Master, senior brother, I still have wine here. Yi Shang stood up and opened the bottles of wine he had brought with him. After opening all of them, Night Sorrow's expression changed. He directly covered one of the wine jugs. This is the wrong one. Sandalwood reached out and snatched it. Then, he sniffed it. It's full of yang qi. Why are you drinking this wine? Qing Emperor and the others also looked at Night Sorrow. This is the dragon root of a 5-clawed pterosaur that I obtained when I was at the Void Inquiry stage. I used it to brew wine and planned to strengthen my body. However, I really didn't drink it. Night Sorrow explained embarrassedly. Sandalwood confiscated the wine jugs. Qing Emperor smiled but did not say anything. After drinking 2 more jugs of wine, Qing Emperor stood up. Xian Daozi has issued an order to remove Shen Guanhong from his position as the great teacher. From today onwards, he will face the wall and reflect on his mistakes. Qing Emperor pointed at the prison cell behind Night Sorrow. The muscles on Shen Guanhong's face twitched. He bowed and said yes. You can fight and snatch. Shen Guanhong, you shouldn't have used the feelings of the people around me. You are blaspheming the relationship between us old friends. Qing Emperor's tone was very calm, but there was disappointment in it. Shen Guanhong knows his mistake. I am willing to accept the punishment. Shen Guanhong bowed and entered the prison cell. At this moment, Qing Emperor looked at Summer City. Your Majesty, Summer City did nothing wrong. He is a shameless person who blackmailed me. I just want to teach him a lesson. Summer City spoke. There was still anger on his face. Summer City, you said that I am still your elder brother. Then, as your elder brother, I will ask you a few questions. Shen Guanhong has no bottom line and used the feelings of us old friends. However, does he have the intention to kill you? He has never had the intention to kill anyone, including Night Sorrow. He knows that if he has the intention to kill, none of us will accept him anymore. However, you have the intention to kill him. Qing Emperor looked at Summer City. At this moment, Shen Guanhong, who was in the prison cell, knelt down in front of Qing Emperor. It was because Qing Emperor had spoken his mind. It also meant that Qing Emperor was only punishing him and had not given up on him. The 5th chapter has arrived. Today, I was injected with 4 bottles of fluids. Even now, I still feel dizzy. However, I did not owe any chapters. Not today and not in the future. The 5th chapter has arrived. Chapter 1150. Elder brother is right. I was angry at the time and wanted to teach him a lesson. As for whether or not I wanted to kill him, I'm not sure. Summer City bowed. Shen Guanhong was the one who started the fight, so he was in the wrong. I imprisoned him to give you an explanation. However, since you were so ruthless to your brother, you need to wake up. This is a book we used to read. Go study it, copy it, and send it to the Qing Emperor's palace. Then, you can return to the 9 grand floors. The Qing Emperor tossed a book to Summer City. Summer City took the book and entered the Devil's Ceiling Tower's dungeon. Xian Daozi, I'll make Sandalwood the Imperial Sky Overseer of the Qing Emperor's Imperial Sky Overseer. She has the authority to act first and report later. Night Sorrow, leave the Qingyuan army and await your orders. Also, Shen Guanhong, you can leave whenever you feel like it's time. The Qing Emperor left the Devil's Ceiling Tower after that. From the beginning to the end, the Qing Emperor ignored Qing Lin. Uncle Summer, I'll stay here with you. Night Sorrow looked at Summer City apologetically. Your Highness, please go back first. This subordinate must take a look at this book and then make a copy. Shen Guanhong, today it was Xia Cheng who was ruthless to you. It was Xia Cheng who let my brother down. Xia Cheng shouted towards the cell next door. Summer City, you're humiliating me. I, Shen Guanhong, am heartless and unscrupulous. I took advantage of my brother's feelings. Shen Guanhong shouted hysterically. All right, we'll come pick up Uncle Summer tomorrow, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Summer City needed peace at a time like this. The group left the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Sunshine, Sandalwood, have seen the light of day again. Standing outside the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Sandalwood stretched out her arms and roared towards the sky. Congratulations, Your Highness, Xian Daozi said with a smile. Uncle Xian Daozi has been by my master's side for millions of years. I should be the one thanking you. Sandalwood nodded at Xian Daozi. Qing Lin also cupped his fists towards Sandalwood. He knew that the situation was getting out of hand, but he could not afford to offend Sandalwood. Let's not talk about this anymore. Night Sorrow, let's go to your 9 grand floors for a drink, Sandalwood said after glancing at Qing Lin. Night Sorrow nodded and brought Sandalwood to the 9 Chong building. The 9-layered heavens. This place has been empty for countless years. Back then, Master didn't even allow me to stay here. That's how much Master values you. Sandalwood smiled at Night Sorrow as she stood in front of the 9-story tower. I understand. I will not disappoint Master and Senior Brother in the future. Night Sorrow looked at Sandalwood and said. Junior Apprentice Brother, during these years when I was in the Devil's Ceiling Pagoda, other than you, there were 6 other people who came to see me. Master, he thought I didn't know, but how could I not know? I can smell Master's aura with my nose. This is also the reason why I didn't end my own life and was able to persevere. Other than that, the 4 generals of the 9 Heavens army also went their separate ways. As for the last one, you will know later. Sandalwood took out a large flag from his storage ring. With a wave of his right hand, the flag flew up and planted itself in a corner of the 9-layered heavens. Senior Apprentice Brother, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was puzzled. The 9 Heavens War Flag, the flag of the 9 Heavens Army. Back in the day, this war flag caused all the enemies of the Qing Emperor's dynasty to tremble in fear. Today, I am giving it to you. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said. Senior Apprentice Brother, I don't want to fight for anything. Night Sorrow looked at the 9 Heavens War Flag and said. I know, but you are the most suitable. As your Senior Apprentice Brother, I have a few requests for you. Use your strength to protect your territory, don't use it for internal strife. Also, don't kill Master's children. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that this was the reason why the Qing Emperor liked Sandalwood. He would not make things difficult for the Qing Emperor. Put the war flag here and let's see what it does. Sandalwood pulled Night Sorrow into the 9 Heavens Pagoda. In the 9 Heavens Pagoda, Night Sorrow saw that all the members of the 9 Heavens Pagoda were present. Greetings, Your Highnesses. Where is Uncle Xia? Fei Xiu and the others bowed. Ha! Uncle Xia is reading a book. Junior Apprentice Brother, you don't know. Uncle Xia has been with Master for a long time and has never touched any books or decrees. He gets a headache whenever he sees them. Sandalwood laughed. Now that there is nothing else, let's set up the banquet. Today, Senior Apprentice Brother and I want to drink. Night Sorrow introduced his wife and the people around him to Sandalwood. Sandalwood was a little embarrassed. Junior Apprentice Brother, I don't have much of a collection. When I led the 9 Heavens army in the past, all the resources belonged to the army. I am very poor. After the banquet was served, the two chatted casually and talked about the past. At this time, the Qing Emperor's dynasty was shaken. A big one. 5 million years ago, the flag of the Qing Emperor's dynasty's #1 army, the 9 Heavens Army, appeared in the 9 Heavens Pagoda. Low-level cultivators did not know what that meant, but the Qing Emperor's dynasty was an old power. There were countless kings, and the king had an endless lifespan. Some of his deeds were already imprinted in their minds. A black figure came from the Qing Emperor's pavilion and reported this matter to the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor just waved his hand and continued playing chess with Xian Daozi. Your Majesty, this disturbance is not small. Should we stop it? Xian Daozi asked in a low voice. I knew you would ask. Then let me ask you. 5 million years ago and today, are the armies of the Qing Emperor's dynasty stronger or weaker? The Qing Emperor looked at Xian Daozi and asked. It's not easy to comment, but their reputation and bravery are not as good as before. The Green Qilin and Green Phoenix armies cannot reach the level of the 9 Heavens army. This is not your fault, because the Qing Emperor's dynasty only has one Sandalwood. Xian Daozi thought for a moment and said. Yes, Sandalwood is back now. The Qing Emperor said and continued to think about the chess game. Latest chapter #_ on section equals Xian Daozi did not say anything else. The Qing Emperor's words of sandalwood were enough. After a game of chess, the Qing Emperor waved his hand. Let's not play anymore. You are not in the mood. Remember, the Qing Emperor's dynasty only has one sandalwood, and one night sorrow. At the Green Qilin Army's encampment, the angry Qilin army gathered. A man in Qilin armor stood in front of the troops. All captains of the angry Qilin army, step forward. Bang! Bang! Some of them took a step forward. The Nine Heavens War banner has appeared. Those who have just joined might not know about it, but you all know what it is. I will leave now because it is my faith. You all can do whatever you want, the man in the armor said. General, it is also our belief. The belief of the angry Qilin army. We will follow you back. All the captains of the angry Qilin army shouted. Good. Gather the troops in the time it takes to brew a cup of tea. Then we will leave. Nu Lin said. When the angry Qilin army finished gathering, Qing Lin appeared. His Highness Qing Lin is here. Even if you did not come, Nu Lin would have come to find you. We are leaving. Nu Lin looked at Qing Lin Crown Prince and said. Why? Is the Green Qilin army not good? Qing Lin frowned and asked. It is not a problem. He is back. Nu Lin's voice was very calm. Chapter 1151. But you are the first army of the Green Qilin army. Green Qilin roared. He was furious. He had worked hard for countless years, but he couldn't compare to someone who had disappeared for 5 million years. That's not important. Back then, Nu Lin told His Majesty that the Nu Lin army could fight for the Qing Emperor's dynasty in any army. However, once the Nine Heavens War flag appears, the Nu Lin army will definitely return. Everyone, listen up. Change your armbands. Nu Lin ordered. At this time, the captains of the Nu Lin army took off the Green Qilin army insignia on their armbands and put on the Qilin shoulder pads. That was the insignia of the Nu Lin army of the Nine Heavens army. A group of people looked at Qing Lin in the night wind. Their attitude was firm. At this time, the 3 armies of the Green Qilin army surrounded the area. Although we are unwilling, we will fight for our return. The Nu Lin army only has soldiers who die in battle. There are no cowards who compromise. Prepare for battle. Nu Lin roared. A mutated beast appeared under him and a 2-foot-long halberd appeared in his hand. Qing Lin's face turned green. He couldn't back down now. Nu Lin was a monarch. Their battle power was on par. The other 3 armies might not be able to take down the Nu Lin army. Even if they could, the Green Qilin army would be gone in the end. At that time, the Crown Prince would be finished. Let them go. After a while, the Crown Prince waved his hand. He knew that he was back to millions of years ago when he was suppressed by sandalwood. The Nu Lin army's situation was also happening in the Green Phoenix army. Qin Leitang wanted to leave with the Thunder army. The Green Phoenix monarch couldn't stop them. Are you rebelling? Zhuo Tengyun roared. We are not rebelling. We are the Nine Heavens Army's Thunder Army. The Nine Heavens War flag is a battle order. Back then, I had an agreement with the princess, Qin Leitang said. What if your majesty doesn't agree? If you force your way out, it will be considered a rebellion. The princess's face was cold. You can't pin the crime of rebellion on the Thunder Army. His Majesty knows that. If your Majesty wants to stop us, we will fight to the end for the beliefs of the soldiers. The princess will bear the consequences. Change the Thunder flag. Prepare for battle. Qin Leitang said. Following Qin Leitang's words, Meng Dan waved her arm and another battle flag was erected in front of the Thunder Army. However, it was different from the ones she used before. The battle flag had thunder in the clouds above it, and it was not the thunder from the Qing Yuan. Old Qin, why are you doing this? Zhu Xuanjia stepped forward and asked. Xianjia, you should know what the Nine Heavens War banner means to the Thundercrash Army and the Nine Heavens Army. As long as the Nine Heavens War banner appears, even if we have to crawl, we will crawl under that banner. Princess, are you going to make way or not? Qin Leitang raised his arm. Scram! Scram far away! Princess Qing Wan angrily roared. If they stopped, they would have to fight. If they didn't fight, they would only lose an army. If they fought, how many people would the Green Phoenix Legion have left? She had no choice. Qin Leitang left with the Thunderbolt Army. At night, a cool breeze blew. The Nine Heavens battle banner of the nine-story tower fluttered in the wind. It was the testimony of an era, the faith of an era. In front of the nine-storied building, the sound of rustling footsteps rang out continuously. Lei Ting, you're not slow. Nu Lin, who had led the Nu Lin army to the 9 grand floors, waved his arm and stabbed a torch into the ground. As long as I don't fall behind you, Qin Leitang replied. Original_first release, the two of you still like to talk nonsense. Another group appeared. It was the Azure Supreme, the Arch City's Imperial Guards. And Ran, you're not slow either. Where's Wei Wei? With her impatient personality, there's no reason for her to be the last to arrive, right? Nu Lin said. She accepted a mission and didn't stay in Qing Emperor City. She went to Dongshan City to clean up a group of bandits, and Ning, the commander of the city guards, said. At this moment, Sandalwood and Night Sorrow appeared in front of the 9 stories building. Greetings, Commander. Everyone knelt on one knee. The black-robed Sandalwood was once their invincible commander. Get up. I'm sorry for what happened to me all these years. Sandalwood went forward and helped Nu Lin, Qin Leitang, and Ning up. It's good that your highness is back. The 9 Heavens army will be invincible again. Nu Lin patted Sandalwood's shoulder. Let me tell you some things. I don't want to lead the army anymore, but I'm worried about you all. I don't want you to suffer, so I found a more suitable person for you all. My junior brother, Night Sorrow. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Senior brother, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't want to lead the army either. Listen to me first. Night Sorrow, I know you don't want to lead the army. I understand your thoughts, but I have some ideas. Night Sorrow is favored by His Majesty. You all know what kind of person His Majesty is. Most importantly, I trust him and am willing to support him because he won't abandon anyone, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He couldn't reject Sandalwood's good intentions. Nu Lin and the others didn't say anything either. Sandalwood was the person they trusted the most. Her words were orders. You don't understand, Night Sorrow. Once you do, your thoughts will change. You won't suffer. Let's go in. The 9 Heavens Pagoda is so big. It can fit a few armies, let alone one, Sandalwood shouted. Night Sorrow brought everyone into the 9 Heavens Pagoda and arranged for them to stay. Then, Zhan Tan called Night Sorrow and the top brass of the 3 armies together. Can you all not be so worried? I'm not ignoring everything. I'm here too. I don't know Night Sorrow's ability to lead a battle, but aren't you all experts? Night Sorrow is virtuous. As long as he's broad-minded, I'll take care of the other things, Sandalwood said. Nu Lin, Anning, let me say a few words. The commander might be tired after all these years, so let's not force him. It's enough that he's by our side. Also, I've fought with Night Sorrow before. Night Sorrow is a qualified soldier, a qualified commander, and a qualified commander in the future, Qin Leitang said. Leitang, are you lying? Nu Lin asked. Army Commander Nu Lin, we fought alongside His Highness Night Sorrow. Just like the commander back then, we'll fight every battle. Soldiers are brothers regardless of their relationship, said Meng Dan. you finally have some ideas. Weren't you quiet back then? Nu Lin looked at Meng Dan and said. I'm not the general's guard anymore. I'm a commander. Meng Dan patted her armor. Night Sorrow, it's not that I don't trust or respect you. I just don't understand you. However, I believe in the commander and my brothers. If they say it's okay, then it's okay. Nu Lin stood up and said. The furious Kylin Legion commander is thinking for his brothers. Yi Shang understands. But isn't today's movement a little too big? Why isn't there any response from outside? Yi Shang mumbled. Chapter 1152. Who has a reaction? Master definitely knows, but junior apprentice brother probably doesn't. Other than the Qing Emperor's guard, Master also has shadow guards. Nothing can escape Master's notice. If Master doesn't have any objections, what can Qing Lin and Qing Wan do? I'll borrow their courage. Sandalwood took a sip of wine and curled his lips. He didn't care about Qing Lin and Qing Wan at all. They weren't on the same level as him. Princess Qing Wan almost made a move against us. She's too narrow-minded. Night Sorrow will be a problem in the Qinghuan army sooner or later. She can't tolerate you. Your Highness shouldn't go back. The Qinghuan army will no longer have a thunderbolt army. Qin Leitang said. His Majesty has decreed for me to retire from the Qinghuan army, but there are no other arrangements. Night Sorrow said. That's good. Qin Leitang felt more at ease. He understood Qinghuan. If there was a chance to suppress Night Sorrow, she wouldn't let it go. Alright, you guys settle down in Ninchong Tower. When Weiwei returns, This Highness will explain everything to His Majesty. Let's drink now. Today is a happy day. 5 million years, I've been locked up for 5 million years. In these 5 million years, I've only seen a few faces. Sandalwood said. 5 million years was just a number, but how many days and nights was that? Everyone could feel the pain Sandalwood had suffered. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood went to the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Summer City was still inside. Night Sorrow couldn't just leave Summer City inside. When Night Sorrow arrived, Summer City was reading the Brotherhood Theory. On the other side was Shengguan Hong's cursing. In any case, he didn't have any manners and pretended to be refined. Summer City was different from the others around the Qing Emperor. He didn't touch ink or read books. Now that he was reading the Brotherhood Theory, he was very happy to be able to make Shengguan Hong angry. I'm here. After reading so many books, my mouth is dry. Do you have wine? Give the old man next door a jar too, or else he won't have the energy to scold us, Summer City said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and gave Summer City and Shengguan Hong a jar of wine each. Uncle Xia, have you copied the book? There's no need to rush. I'll first familiarize myself with it. I'll let a certain someone know what it means to be a brother, Summer City said. Summer City, you bastard. If you have the guts, let's fight again. If you have the guts, then kill me. Shengguan Hong, who was next door, heard Summer City's words and directly smashed the wine jar. Since Her Highness Sandalwood is with Your Highness, I'm relieved. I'll stay here for a few days and teach the old man next door a lesson. Summer City took a sip of wine and said. That's fine too. Everything in Ninchong Tower is going well. Night Sorrow nodded. He could tell that Summer City and Shengguan Hong were at loggerheads. They were not fighting because of grievances, but because of their state of mind. In fact, it was also because of their brotherhood. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to Ninchong Tower. At this time, on the training field of Ninchong Tower, 3 square formations were cultivating. The 3 generals were arguing about something. Seeing that Sandalwood and Night Sorrow had returned, Nu Lin and Tranquility pulled the unwilling Qin Leitang to Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. What's going on? Sandalwood frowned. The only one, and the rest are stolen. Your Highness, are the 9 Heavens Army brothers who live and die together? Nu Lin asked. That's right. This is the first creed of the 9 Heavens Army. Sandalwood nodded. Qin Leitang, you bastard. What else do you have to say? Tranquility roared at Qin Leitang. I didn't say no. I said to wait for Night Sorrow to return and then ask His Highness Night Sorrow if it's okay. But you guys are biting me. Qin Leitang waited for Tranquility to speak. The 3 of you, quiet down. Tell me what's going on. Sandalwood was confused. The 9 Heavens Army was the most united. This had never happened before. Nu Lin then said that they wanted the Thunder Army's combined attack formation. Currently, only the Thunder Army has cultivated the combined attack formation that His Highness Night Sorrow taught them. The other 3 armies haven't cultivated it because they don't have His Highness Night Sorrow's orders, Qin Leitang said. That's easy. We're all brothers. Let's cultivate it together. Thunder Army, Nu Lin Army, and Tranquility Army will all cultivate it together. That's not a problem, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Tranquility Army was the army that Tranquility led. Of course. I thank Your Highness on behalf of all the brothers in the 9 Heavens Army. Nu Lin bowed to Night Sorrow. What's the big deal? You guys are so embarrassed because of this. Hurry up and get busy. Sandalwood waved her hand and dismissed them. Then, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood went to Jocheong Palace where Night Sorrow lived to make tea. What they didn't know was that something was happening in the Azure Emperor Empire, something that no one could predict. Qing Lin and Qing Wan met in Qing Lin Palace and sat together. Qing Wan had found Qing Lin. Has the Nu Lin army left? Qing Wan asked after sitting down. Why do you ask when you already know the answer? Are you here to laugh at me? Qing Lin retorted in a displeased manner. No. Thunder Army also left the Qing Wan army. We are in the same predicament. If we don't change, we can't fight Sandalwood and Night Sorrow, Princess Qing Wan said. How can we fight them? I would like to hear your opinion, Qing Lin said. Qing Lin sighed. He was very depressed. Although he wanted to change and become the #1 person in the Imperial Palace, Sandalwood and Yishang were like mountains pressing down on him. Qing Lin Army and Qing Wan Army will merge and form the Lin Wan Army. The 6 armies won't be weaker than the 9 Heaven Army. If we work together, we might be able to defeat them. The main thing is that the Qing Emperor's dynasty is in our hands, Qing Wan said. What about the position of commander? Qing Lin asked. Of course it's my brother. Before we can suppress them, we won't be separated. Princess Qing Wan said. This was the result of her discussion with Suo Tingyun. If she didn't work with Crown Prince Qing Lin, she wouldn't be able to compete with Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. Alright, mobilize the forces of the other princes. I don't believe we can't defeat them. Qing Lin knocked on the table and stood up. Qing Lin didn't want to be suppressed by Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. Then, Qing Lin and Qing Wan gathered the other princes and told them about the current situation. Remember, we are siblings. They are outsiders. No matter who gets the throne, Your Majesty or the Crown Prince, you will have a good life. But they are different, Qing Wan said. If the Crown Prince and the Princess want to fight, I will support you. I can give you people and resources, but I can't do anything else, Prince Qing Lin said. Qing Lin had an official position in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. He was in charge of the examination and reporting of some low-ranking officials. He didn't want to get involved in such a fight, but Qing Wan used their sibling relationship to speak, so he had to do so. Chapter 1153. The other princes also had the same attitude. The Qing Emperor had established the Qing Emperor's dynasty for countless years. He had many successful princes, and their cultivation was also considered top-notch. The Qing Emperor gave them the position of being outstanding, but not outstanding. In other words, they could manage some things, but they couldn't shoulder the main responsibility. If they could manage some things, their knowledge would be good. The princes didn't fight for it because they understood that if they weren't good enough, then they shouldn't think about it. In addition, they also trusted Sandalwood. Back then, Sandalwood led the Ninth Heaven Army to expand the territory. The Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's kingdom were terrified of the Ninth Heaven Army. Under the circumstances where the leaders were restricted by the unspoken rules and couldn't fight, the Ninth Heaven Army was invincible, and Sandalwood was also an invincible commander. The Darkness Sovereign was strong, the Crimson Emperor was strong. All the peak powers in the world of reincarnation had such powerful characters. However, none of them would make a move easily. If they made a move recklessly, they would lose face. In addition, if you made a move, the other party's characters would also take revenge. The consequences would be very severe unless one of them could break the balance. But at their level, it would be very difficult for their cultivation to improve. It was very difficult for them to improve themselves. Almost all of these giants had taken the same path, which was to nurture outstanding assistants. Once any faction had two such experts, the balance would be broken. Sandalwood was once the Qing Emperor's hope, but she went astray and went crazy for 5 million years. After seeing Night Sorrow, the Qing Emperor felt that Night Sorrow could also do it. In addition, after knowing that Night Sorrow had supreme attributes, he even felt that Night Sorrow's achievements might surpass his in the future. Night Sorrow was only a little over 100 years old, which was shockingly young. There was no such precedent in the Supreme World. A shadow guard reported the current situation to the Qing Emperor. "Your Majesty, are you just going to watch them fight?" Xian Daozi asked. "If I don't watch, how can I deal with it? Only when the fight is fierce can it generate motivation. It's boring if it's stagnant." The Qing Emperor shook his head. "That's true. But once Mistress finds out, won't things become even more troublesome?" Xian Daozi changed the topic. "Her departure means that she has given up on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor's dynasty has nothing to do with her. Don't mention her in the future." The Qing Emperor's face turned cold. Xian Daozi hurriedly bowed and left. He knew he had said something he shouldn't have. 3 days later, another group of city guards reported to the Ninchong Tower. The commander was a woman. "Sister." Nu Lin and Qin Leitang greeted her. "Wei Wei. Long time no see." Seeing this female commander, An Ping said with a smile. B*TCH, you're still a B*TCH. Do I know you that well? Call me General Wei Wei. Wei Wei greets my 2 elder brothers. The valiant woman glared at An Ping before cupping her hands at Nu Lin and Qin Leitang. "Wei Wei, you're still not giving me any face. For you, I've been lonely for millions of years." An Ning said with a bitter face. "Ha! Wei Wei is back. You're the slowest," Sandalwood and Night Sorrow said after arriving at the training field. "I just finished a mission and came back as soon as I heard the news." Wei Wei greets the commander. "And this is?" Wei Wei looked at Night Sorrow. "Night Sorrow, I have to say something. Can't you change the look of your white battle robe? Can't you wear your Majesty's clothes?" Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said, speechless. "Elder brother, you have to say something about him. He wears his white robe all the time," Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. "Black robes with golden edges, blue robes with golden edges. The robes sent by the Qing Emperor's palace aren't clean," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "From now on, wear a black robe with golden edges. Don't get caught by someone you don't know in the future. If that happens, don't say I didn't care about you. Wei Wei, this is His Highness Yi Shang." After saying a few words to Yi Shang, San Tan introduced Yi Shang and Wei Wei. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Night Sorrow. Wei Wei cupped his hands. "Let me tell you something else today. I was able to escape from the Devil's Ceiling Pagoda because of Night Sorrow's help. My life is his, and my future accomplishments are also thanks to him," said Sandalwood. In truth, this was what she truly felt. We are brothers. If something happens to me, you won't just stand by and watch. Isn't that right? Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Everyone has their moments of helplessness. I was very helpless in the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Although I persevered, I was very lost. Go and see me, drink tea with me, and let me know what it means to be heartwarming, Sandalwood said with a sigh. Master only has you and me. Although we didn't meet back then, as your junior brother, I won't be stingy if I can do anything for you, Knight Sorrow said. Go and reorganize the army. Once you're done, we will fight. The border is where our Nine Heavens army should go, Sandalwood said to Nu Lin and the others. But the border of the Qing Emperor's dynasty is under the control of the Qing Lin army and Qing Yuan army. We have nowhere to go, Qin Leitang said. If I ask for it, they will have to give me half, Sandalwood said. They all have protectors. I don't think they will compromise, Nu Lin said after thinking for a moment. If they can't rely on their own strength, what about their protectors? Junior brother's protector is His Majesty's old brother. Don't I have a protector? Does His Majesty count? How dare they? Sandalwood sneered. Knight Sorrow was also stunned. He didn't expect Sandalwood's protector to be Qing Emperor. Nu Lin and the others bowed and left. They knew that this was Sandalwood. Once she decided on something, she would never back down. Head. After parting with Sandalwood, Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. As soon as Knight Sorrow arrived, the Qing Emperor summoned him. Master, I would like to ask for your help, Knight Sorrow said with a bow. In your experience, you have never asked anyone for help, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. Master, it's not just anyone. It's like this. The Nine-Domain world is in the middle of a calamity. An evil spirit world is attacking the Nine-Domain world. I can suppress the Nine-Domain world and prevent it from being destroyed, Knight Sorrow said. What are you afraid of? Xian Daozi, who was standing at the side, asked. The leader of the evil spirit world, the evil spirit king, is a high-level king. I can't defeat it in the evil spirit world. If it rushes to the Nine-Domain world, my original body can control the Nine-Domain sources and fight it. However, my original body can't stay here forever. My original body wants to come out and comprehend will. Knight Sorrow explained his predicament. Your original body wants to leave the Nine-Domain world and reach a higher level. However, after leaving, you are worried that the evil spirit king will rush to the Nine-Domain world, right? After hearing Knight Sorrow's explanation, the Qing Emperor had a rough idea. Yes, that's the situation. Knight Sorrow nodded. You said that you can control the Nine-Domain sources. You are the Realm Master. The Qing Emperor asked. Yes, Princess Qing Luan knows. Didn't she tell Master? Knight Sorrow asked. I really didn't know. You are the Realm Master. This is easy to solve. The Qing Emperor smiled. The fourth update arrived. Chapter 1154. Qing Emperor took out a green ball and handed it to Knight Sorrow. Then, he explained how to use it. The green ball was the empty spirit pearl, a treasure nurtured by the endless ocean. To put it bluntly, it was a small empty space world. It could only be activated by treasures like the Destiny Pearl and the Origin Stone. The Realm Lord had the world's origin power, so there was no problem in activating it. When the evil spirit king appeared, Knight Sorrow's clone could activate the empty spirit pearl and imprison the evil spirit king in this space world. Thank you, Master. Then I have no more worries. Knight Sorrow's face was full of joy. You're still like a child. Go. Qing Emperor smiled and nodded. Knight Sorrow bowed and left some good wine and tea on the table beside him. Then, he left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Your Majesty, he's actually just a child, Xian Daozi said. A child with a simple mind. Make some tea. Qing Emperor pointed at the teapot that Night Sorrow had left behind. After obtaining the empty spirit pearl, Night Sorrow was very happy. The big problem of the 9-domain world was solved. The drawback of his original body not being able to leave the 9-domain world was no longer there. After returning to the 9 grand floors, everyone noticed that Night Sorrow was different. What made you so happy? Sikong Chuyu asked with a smile. I just went to find Master. Master gave me a treasure that can control the evil spirit king. In other words, my original body can leave the 9-domain world and start improving myself, Night Sorrow said. That's great. This way, the hidden dangers of the 9-domain world won't restrict you. Sikong Chuyu smiled and nodded. My original body needs to cultivate again. We don't have a child yet. Yang Lei muttered. That. 13, I think I'm pregnant, Aoi, who was standing beside Yang Lei, said with a red face. 6th senior sister, is this true? Night Sorrow's face was full of excitement. Yes. I just confirmed it. Qing Ji nodded. Well, I think so too. I plan to check it later. Sikong Chuyu's face was also red. Night Sorrow paced in place, not knowing what to do or say to express his feelings. Alright, we have to tell our parents about this, Aoi said. Okay, you can go. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He intended to let his wife talk about such a happy event. Junior brother, you are truly formidable. Judging by the amount of energy contained within your body, the chances of you producing children are not high. But to think that you have 2 children in one go, I am truly impressed. Jean Tan chuckled. I'm so happy. I'm really happy. Night Sorrow couldn't suppress the joy in his heart. Did you drink the dragon root wine? Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and asked. No. I really didn't drink it. Night Sorrow blushed and said. While everyone was preparing for the banquet, Night Sorrow left the 9-Chong Pagoda and returned to the city in the sky. He handed over the things that needed to be handed over to his original body. Then Night Sorrow's doppelganger returned to the 9-Chong Pagoda. Night Sorrow's original body arrived at Haotian City. After handing over the empty spirit pearl to his doppelganger in the Fengtian Hall, he took some cultivation resources and the cultivation token of the Samsara Palace and headed to the Samsara world. The first city in the Samsara world was the Samsara City. The Samsara City didn't belong to any force. It was a neutral area. All the top forces in the Samsara world were in charge of the Samsara City. No one could monopolize the city. All the top forces had a foundation in the Samsara City. Because the top forces didn't have many ups and downs, the power structure didn't fluctuate greatly. However, there were still small conflicts and battles. Night Sorrow's original body arrived at the Samsara City through the official transmission formation of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. As the first city in the Supreme World, the Samsara City was so big that Night Sorrow had to take a transmission formation in the city to get to the Samsara Palace. The Samsara Palace was located there. The surrounding space was illusory, with endless rules and willpower. Night Sorrow arrived at the Samsara Palace, but a guard stopped him. I'm going in to cultivate. Night Sorrow took out the token of the Samsara Palace. Okay. Has the Samsara token recognized its owner? Put it in the Samsara cauldron over there and you can enter. The guard, whose cultivation Night Sorrow couldn't see through, nodded after seeing the Samsara token. With the Samsara token, he was qualified to enter the Samsara Palace to cultivate. Night Sorrow knew some rules of the Samsara Palace. The Samsara token recorded the time of the user. When the time was up, it would be automatically expelled. Each time the time was deducted was also in units of 10 years. After putting the Samsara token into the Samsara cauldron, a stream of energy appeared and wrapped Night Sorrow into the Samsara Palace. You have 130 years of cultivation time. Now, you can choose the attribute you want to cultivate. An old and dignified voice sounded. Senior, I want to comprehend the nihility intent. Night Sorrow said. The supreme attribute, nihility will? There was a hint of surprise in the old voice's voice. Yes, I have the nihility energy and the nihility law, but I haven't found the place to comprehend the nihility intent. Therefore, I came here to ask for your help. Night Sorrow bowed and said. He knew that this was a question from the origin of the world of samsara. Okay. Since you can, I'll help you. The old voice responded to Night Sorrow. The only original version Z, L others are all pirated versions. Then, Night Sorrow's surroundings changed. Next, it was a space full of the nihility intent. Once again, he cupped his hands towards the void. After eating the spirit comprehension pill, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and started cultivating. The entry level of the nihility intent was the most difficult stage in Night Sorrow's cultivation. After taking this step, he could use time to accumulate and use the entry-level law to deduce and comprehend it. Inside the 9 Grand building, the celebration banquet was quite grand. Pregnancy was a big deal for everyone. In addition, Night Sorrow was the realm lord of the 9 regions world. Having a child was even more important. After the banquet ended, Night Sorrow came to a corner of the 9 Grand building. He stood under the 9 Heavens war flag and looked up at it. Your Highness. At this moment, a female voice sounded behind Night Sorrow. It was General Wei Wei. General Wei Wei is here. Bring your men here. Are there any problems? If there's anything that needs to be dealt with, I'll take care of it. Night Sorrow looked back at General Wei Wei and said. There might be. The city guard commander should be here. It's a bit strange that he hasn't come yet. General Wei Wei said. If it's just the city guard commander looking for trouble, then it's fine. Uncle Xia won't look for trouble with us. He's still reading in the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Night Sorrow said. Your Highness is very familiar with Commander Xia. General Wei Wei asked in surprise. Yes, Uncle Xia is my path protector. He's one of the closest people to me in the world of reincarnation. Night Sorrow nodded. Then it's fine. If the other 2 deputy commanders come, we don't need to care. Your Highness can tell them to go find Commander Xia. General Wei Wei said with a smile. Since the 9 Heavens war flag is out, let's fight. Night Sorrow murmured. Chapter 1155. After chatting with General Wei Wei for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at the Devil's Ceiling Tower. When Night Sorrow arrived at the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Uncle Summer had just finished copying the Brotherhood cycle. Your Highness, you're here. Copying the Brotherhood cycle is harder than killing a few sovereigns. Summer City threw the brush in his hand and stood up. Looking at the swaying brush in the meteorite iron wall, Night Sorrow understood how much emotion Summer City's writing brought. Summer City walked out of the dungeon with 2 Brotherhood cycle books in his hands. The Qing Emperor's guards in the Devil's Ceiling Tower didn't lock the dungeon door for Summer City and Shangguanhong. They went in to reflect and could leave at any time. Summer City came out, and so did Shangguanhong. Old man, I've finished copying the Brotherhood cycle. What about you? Don't you want to continue reflecting? Summer City looked at Shangguanhong with disdain under his mask and some other emotions. I've reflected. I'll deal with you in the future. I won't use our brotherhood. You better be careful, Shangguanhong said as he pointed at Summer City. Hey! You're trying to scare me. What else can you do other than use tricks? You're the one who should be careful. If you provoke me, I'll deal with you. I can't kill you, but can't I beat you black and blue? Let's go, Your Highness. Xia Cheng waved his arm and pushed aside Shangguanhong, who wasn't in the way to begin with, before leaving the Devil's Ceiling Tower's dungeon with Yishang. Summer City, you better remember this. Shangguanhong was so angry that he roared hysterically again. After Night Sorrow and Summer City left the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Night Sorrow told them what happened in the past few days. Very good. Since Princess Sandalwood is willing to help you, your position in the Qing Emperor's dynasty is very stable. The two princesses won't be able to threaten you in terms of strength. The only thing they can do is to scheme against you, said Summer City. There's one more thing. The 4 armies of the 9 Heavens Army have returned. Qing Lin and Qing Wan weren't able to stop the return of the raging Qilin Army and the Thunder Army. However, the 2 armies belonging to the Qing Emperor's Imperial City Guards might be in trouble, said Night Sorrow. Of course, I won't cause any trouble for you, but it's necessary to report to His Majesty. Let's go to the Qing Emperor's palace first. This is also for His Majesty. Summer City pointed at the book in his hand. I won't be going over. I'll go back to Nine Chong Tower and wait for Uncle Xia. Night Sorrow said. He knew that after Summer City went to the Azure Sky Pavilion, he would have some interactions with the Qing Emperor. It was all about some old brothers. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to go. When Night Sorrow returned to Nine Chong Tower, he discovered that there was a problem. The 2 vice commanders of the Imperial City Guards had surrounded Nine Chong Tower with a few troops. They wanted to capture Ning and Wei Wei. Greetings, Your Highness, said the 2 commanders when they saw Night Sorrow. They saluted Night Sorrow. Eldest senior brother, what's going on? Asked Night Sorrow. Forever exempt #C_Littleby said. How should I put it? No one is right or wrong. The Anping Army and the Dingxiang Army belong to the 9 Heavens Army. When they saw the 9 Heavens battle order, they had to return. The 2 of them are the vice commanders of the Imperial City Guards. They are under the command of His Majesty and the commander of the Imperial City Guards. Now that the former Imperial City Guards are no longer part of the order, it's normal for them to interfere, said Sandalwood. Right now, the Imperial City Guards were in the right. Even if Sandalwood was strong, she couldn't act recklessly. Thus, it was a stalemate. Your Highnesses, we're not here to make things difficult for anyone. We just want to bring the 2 captains of the Imperial City Guards to give an explanation to our commander and His Majesty. As for how the commander and His Majesty will deal with this matter, we won't interfere, said one of the vice commanders. I can understand what you mean. This matter must be dealt with. However, it's impossible for me to hand them over. If I can't even protect them in my own residence, how am I supposed to lead people in the future? How am I supposed to conduct myself, said Night Sorrow. But this matter must be dealt with. The vice commander of the Imperial City Guards sighed because today's matter was very difficult to resolve. Yi Shang wouldn't back down, as this was a matter of dignity. Moreover, the Imperial City Guards couldn't lose their dignity either, as that represented Qingdi City's dignity. No one wants a conflict. How about this? Everyone, calm down. Uncle Summer has already walked out of the Devil's Ceiling Tower and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion to see His Majesty. This matter will be resolved soon, said Night Sorrow. Then, we can wait. The vice commander nodded. No one wanted to have a conflict. After waiting for a while, Elder Xia returned. What's going on? What's with all the commotion? Elder Xia asked as he looked at the 2 sides. It's about the matter of the 2 armies belonging to the 9 Heavens Army, said Night Sorrow. Greetings, Commander. Since Commander isn't here, we can only deal with this matter first, said the 2 vice commanders. His Majesty already knows about this matter. It's only natural for the Anping and Dingxiang armies to return to the 9 Heavens Army. In addition, the troops trained by Pine Garden City will be transferred over to fill the vacancies in the Imperial City Guards, said Summer City. Hearing Summer City's words, the 2 vice commanders of the Imperial City Guards retreated with their troops. Speaking of which, Summer City went to the Azure Sky Pavilion and gave the Qing Emperor the 2 books on brotherhood. After reading Summer City's copy, the Qing Emperor was speechless because the handwriting was unreadable. How many years had it been? He wanted Summer City to have some ink in his stomach, but it still wasn't enough. Summer City then told him what Night Sorrow had told him and asked for the Qing Emperor's opinion. The Qing emperor was clear about the current situation. Originally, he planned to have Xian Daozi pass on the order. Now that Summer City had returned, he naturally didn't need Xian Daozi to pass on the order. He passed on the order to Summer City. Night Sorrow had the Nine Heavens army rest while he and Sandalwood brought Summer City back to the main hall of the Nine Heavens Tower. "Here, this is your identity medallion," said Yizichin. Summer City handed the 2 tokens to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's token was the Royal Highness token, while Sandalwood's was the Sky Supervisor's token. He originally had the Royal Highness token. "Your Highness Sandalwood, although His Majesty didn't say anything about the rebuilding of the Nine Heavens Army, it involves the army. You should go and report it. The battle orders and military tokens also need to be dealt with," Summer City said to Sandalwood. "Old Xia, this matter needs to be handled by Night Sorrow. I don't plan on leading the army anymore. These years have been too tiring. Once the Nine Heavens army is on the right track, I'll go and accompany Master. Then, I'll go and see the world. There are still many things to do in life," Sandalwood said. "That's fine. You brothers make the arrangements. Deal with it as soon as possible." Old Xia nodded. He could understand Sandalwood. Sandalwood's high-spirited state of mind had changed quite a bit. Zhua Tingyun and Shen Guanhong supported the decision made by Qing Lin and Qing Wan. This was the best way out for them. It was also the only way to go against Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. After all, the circle of royal descendants was still very strong. As for the alliance between Qing Lin and Qing Wan, the Qing emperor directly approved. He knew what everyone was thinking. As long as it wasn't out of line, he couldn't be bothered. After that, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood arrived at the Azure Sky Pavilion. They also needed to deal with the Nine Heavens army. The 2 of them met Qing Lin and Qing Wan, who had just come out of the Azure Sky Pavilion. Chapter 1156. Qing Lin pretended not to see them and walked directly towards Yishang and Qing Wan. Qing Wan followed beside him and had the same attitude as Qing Lin. Interesting. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow stood in the middle of the path and did not move. Give way. Sandalwood did not have this word in her heart. In Night Sorrow's place, if Qing Lin and Qing Wan were polite, he would not mind giving way. But since they were so aggressive, if he gave way, it would mean that he was afraid. He naturally would not give way. When the 4 of them were 5 feet away, they stopped in their tracks. Give way. Qing Lin roared. Here, I, Sandalwood, will only give way to Master. You do not have the right. Sandalwood said coldly. Night Sorrow, you are really something. Now that you have someone backing you, you are ungrateful. Qing Wan looked at Night Sorrow and scolded him. Ungrateful. You cannot accuse me of being ungrateful. When you came to the 9 regions world to find me, you forced me because I was the realm lord. You could not force me. After that, you used the pressure from the Chidu Empire to force me to compromise. Is this considered kindness? Although you were magnanimous at that time, you followed me and became Master's disciple. Ask yourself, do you still have that magnanimity? Righteousness, who did I let down? The Qing Emperor's empire protects the 9 regions world. I will naturally fight for the Qing Emperor's empire. I am not in the Qing Wan army now because of Master's orders. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the Azure Sky Pavilion. You have a sharp tongue. Princess Qing Wan spat out coldly. Whatever you say. Night Sorrow did not want to lower himself to her level. You are not giving way. I am your senior brother. Since you are disrespectful to me, I will teach you a lesson. Sandalwood snorted coldly. She waved her right hand and a 7-foot sword appeared in her hand. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations, Qing Lin, Qing Wan, leave quickly. Sandalwood, come in. The Qing Emperor's voice came from the Azure Sky Pavilion. Qing Emperor didn't ask about the confrontation between the 4 of them. However, the outcome was out. He couldn't just watch them fight. If they fought, Qing Lin and Qing Wan wouldn't be Sandalwood's match. To him, a result was enough. Hearing the Qing Emperor's words, Qing Lin and Qing Wan bypassed Sandalwood and Night Sorrow and left the Azure Sky Pavilion. The Qing Emperor's words were also to give them a way out. If they were to fight, Night Sorrow was a 2-star king. However, Green Qilin and Green Wan were not a match for Sandalwood even if they worked together. Sandalwood had the ability to kill a monarch back in the day. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow entered the Azure Sky Pavilion. Sandalwood, Night Sorrow, the Qinlin army and Qinhuan army have merged to form the Qinhuan army. What do you think? Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood and Night Sorrow and asked. Junior brother, you go first. Sandalwood nodded to Night Sorrow. No thoughts. We are all working for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The only difference is the form. There may be competition, but there is vitality when there is competition, Night Sorrow said. Master, they don't want to give up. This is actually a good thing. Only by not giving up can they strive and achieve something, Sandalwood said. Both of you are very open-minded. Tell me, what are you here for? Qing Emperor nodded and said. He knew that in terms of mentality, his children were at a disadvantage. Master, I am here to report to the Nine Heavens Army. However, I don't want to be the commander of the Nine Heavens Army anymore. I have also told the 4 generals that junior brother will lead them in the future, Sandalwood said. The Nine Heavens Army is a flag of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This flag should not fall. If it disbands, it will no longer be the Nine Heavens Army. Night Sorrow is His Highness, so he is qualified to lead the army. I approve. I will send the token to the 9 grand floors later. Qing Emperor nodded. Thank you, Master. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow bowed. Night Sorrow, you are still young. You still have a long way to go. Leading the army will be a good experience for your growth. In addition, the merit points will help you improve more smoothly. Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and said. I will remember Master's teachings. Night Sorrow bowed. Zhan Tan, your junior brother is just like you, honest and honest. There are things that he should do and things that he shouldn't do. Therefore, even though he is a perfect person, he has some weaknesses as well. You have to look after him, the Lotus Emperor said. I will. Sandalwood nodded. After that, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Xian Daozi, take my Emperor's seal and find a celestial designer to build everything the Nine Heavens Army needs, Qing Emperor said to Xian Daozi. Yes. Also, the Qing Emperor's guard from the Devil's Ceiling Tower just reported that Shang Guanhong and Summer City left the Devil's Ceiling Tower one after the other, Xian Daozi said. So be it. Xia Cheng is a straightforward person. We know what kind of person he is. As for Shen Guanhong, he has more crooked ideas, but he still has a bottom line for some things. After this incident, they will calm down and know what not to do. Emperor Qing shook his head. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the 9 grand floors and gathered the 4 teams of the Nine Heavens Army. Then, Sandalwood told them about the Nine Heavens Army's report. Commander, once the order is approved, we can go to the border. Nu Lin asked excitedly. Don't call me that. From now on, the Nine Heavens Army will only have one commander, and that is Night Sorrow, Sandalwood emphasized. The 4 generals nodded. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the main hall of the 9 grand floors. Sandalwood took out a map and looked at it. At the same time, she asked Night Sorrow where the best defense area was. Night Sorrow looked at it and thought for a moment. Then, he drew a diagonal line. That was the border between the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Dark Abyss. Night Sorrow's finger pointed to the border between the Red Emperor's dynasty and the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Sky Tiger Pass. Not bad. That's a good location. It's an area with a lot of battles. That way, we can be self-sufficient. Also, Sky Tiger Pass is a military stronghold. However, the stronghold is currently in the enemy's hands. Qing Lin, that piece of trash, didn't manage to take it, Sandalwood said. Then we'll take it ourselves. The problem now is how do we get the right to defend this area? Qing Lin and Qing Wan won't let go, Night Sorrow said. Now, we have two options. One is to go to the Qing Emperor's palace and ask for the defense area from the military. We can do that. The two princes have a lot of influence, but we're not fake either. However, it's a bit of a bully. The other option is to report to the military and take down Sky Tiger Pass. Then, we can take over the surrounding areas. That will shut everyone up. Qing Lin and Qing Wan won't even let out a fart. The problem is that it's very difficult to take over. Sky Tiger Pass is a stronghold that the Red Emperor's dynasty values, Sandalwood said. If we go and take over the area, we'll have to take over Sky Tiger Pass in the future. It'll give us a reason to take over Sky Tiger Pass. Why don't we make some preparations and take over Sky Tiger Pass? Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1157. Alright. This idea is actually a suggestion from Senior Brother. Stealing from our own people isn't a skill. Although they aren't our people, they are still from the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If we want to steal, we should steal from our enemies, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. Then let's do it this way. I'll look up the information and see what's going on in Sky Tiger Pass. I don't want Nine Heaven's army to suffer any losses, Night Sorrow said. Alright, this is the first battle and also the most crucial battle. You should study the battle strategy first. If you think it's feasible, we'll report it to the military and start the battle, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow nodded and asked Fei Xiu to look for information on Sky Tiger Pass. Then, he went to the training ground and called the 4 generals of Nine Heaven's army together. I have a mission for you guys. Since you guys aren't familiar with it, whoever can do it well, Night Sorrow said when they arrived at the Nine Heaven's army's temporary tent. Commander, please instruct us, Nu Lin said. It's like this. Nine Heaven's army doesn't have a defensive area. So, if you want a defensive area, there are 2 ways. One is to ask for it, and the other is to steal. If you ask for it, you'll lose face and reputation, Night Sorrow said and went straight to the point. Yes, we're not beggars. If we don't want it, we'll steal it, Wei Wei's eyes lit up. Even if she was a woman, she was still a soldier. Alright, I need detailed information on Sky Tiger Pass. The more detailed, the better. The faster, the better, Night Sorrow ordered. Attack Sky Tiger Pass. Nu Lin and the others were stunned. Sky Tiger Pass was one of the impregnable passes of the Red Emperor's empire. It was a stronghold and was very difficult to attack. That's right. This is the first battle of our Nine Heaven's army. We have to do it well. After that, we'll rely on Sky Tiger Pass to develop and establish a defensive line, Night Sorrow said as he stood up. Yes, sir. I know a little about Sky Tiger Pass. I can sneak in to investigate, Nu Lin cupped his fist at Night Sorrow. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Information must be reliable. Night Sorrow nodded at Angry Unicorn. Everyone else, prepare for battle. Night Sorrow instructed before returning to the main hall. Look at the first section of this chapter. Have you made the arrangements? Sandalwood asked. He did not go with Night Sorrow because he wanted to let Night Sorrow establish his authority. Nu Lin went to investigate. The details are very important. Night Sorrow nodded. After a while, Fei Xiu returned with some information regarding Heaven Tiger Pass and some blueprints. Although the blueprints were old, Night Sorrow could still make do with them. After watching for a while, Night Sorrow began to think. Attacking the stronghold by force would not work, as they would suffer heavy losses. That was not the result that Night Sorrow wanted. What he wanted was to pay the lowest price in exchange for the greatest benefits. Night Sorrow took a pen and drew a few areas on the blueprints. In a war, we have to first cut off the enemy's reinforcements and destroy the teleportation formation. Then, we have to separate the areas and kill them. That way, the consumption will be reduced, Night Sorrow said. Yes, we have to break through the enemy's strength with skill. The outer area of Heaven Tiger Pass is full of formations. Attacking by force is not feasible, Sandalwood said. The soldiers in the army are all brothers. I won't let anyone die easily. Senior brother, don't worry. I have some ideas now, but we'll talk about it when Nu Lin returns. Night Sorrow knew that Sandalwood was worried. The members of the god-slaying team cultivated every day and worked hard to improve their cultivation. Because the level of the people around Night Sorrow was too high, the battle had nothing to do with them. On this day, after Night Sorrow arranged for some people to collect some materials, a guest came to the Nine Chong Pavilion. It was Long Jean. Night Sorrow received him politely. However, Long Jean wasn't there as a guest. He was there to join Night Sorrow. He wanted to train himself at a higher level. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow agreed and put Long Jean in the god-slaying team. He admired Long Jin's character. Men had to be brave. Only then would they be able to break through. The Nine Heavens army didn't make any moves. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were puzzled. They didn't know what was going on. Night Sorrow aside, Sandalwood's personality shouldn't be like this. However, at this time, the Qing Emperor's dynasty announced that the new commander of the Nine Heavens army was Night Sorrow, not Sandalwood. Seems like Sandalwood's temperament has changed after being locked up for so many years. If he doesn't stir up trouble, Night Sorrow won't be able to do anything. We'll just occupy the defense area and refuse to give it to them. Then we'll just give them some horns and let them bury themselves in the mud. Qing Lin slammed the table and said. The Nine Heavens army won't submit to anyone easily. From the way they left here, we can see how bad they are. Even with Sandalwood's suppression, it won't last long. Night Sorrow, he's not good enough. He's far from enough. They're destroying their own foundation. Our chance is here. After hearing the news, Qing Wan was excited. She felt that if she and Qing Lin couldn't control the Nine Heavens army, Night Sorrow wouldn't be able to control them either. Night Sorrow was doing his homework, preparing to conquer Heaven Tiger Pass. Half a month later, Nu Lin came back with a brother. The two of them had cultivated a secret technique and had the illusion body. The illusion body didn't have the ability to fight, but it was good at hiding. The two of them recorded the situation inside Heaven Tiger Pass and the deployment of the army. Holding the layout of Heaven Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow compared it with the old map. The terrain wasn't much different. The only difference was some buildings and deployments. Night Sorrow held the layout and made markings on it. He was thinking about the deployment and route of the attack. Nu Lin shook his head at Sandalwood and the three generals of the Nine Heavens army. He estimated that even without the stronghold, the Nine Heavens army would have to suffer some losses if they wanted to take down Heaven Tiger Pass. Now that Heaven Tiger Pass was surrounded by a large formation, it wasn't suitable for attacking. If they attacked, the Nine Heavens army would suffer great losses. Sandalwood didn't say anything and continued to watch Night Sorrow make markings and deployments. After an hour, Night Sorrow raised his head and said, "That's it. I have a plan now." "Commander, it's not wise to fight head-on when we know we can't win," Nu Lin said. "Let me finish first. War can be divided into soft power and hard power. Hard power is a comparison of military power, while soft power is some external factors. Heaven Tiger Pass is an external factor that increases the enemy's strength. We can use the soft power that we can use to weaken the enemy and increase our own strength," Night Sorrow said after glancing at the map. "Okay, tell me about it." Sandalwood interrupted Nu Lin, who was about to continue. "Heaven Tiger Pass is a strong stronghold. First, We have to break the defensive power of their stronghold and turn it into a decoration. Night Sorrow knocked on the map and said, "How is that possible? The quality of the soldiers in Heaven Tiger Pass is not as high as our 9 Heavens army, but their numbers are terrifying." Nu Lin shook his head. "Others can't do it, but I can." Night Sorrow looked at Nu Lin and said, Chapter 1158. Come, everyone, sit down. Let's discuss openly today. Night Sorrow is the new commander of the 9 Heavens army, and I support him. However, the subordinates of the 9 Heavens army are all old brothers, and I respect that. He waved his hand for everyone to sit. Night Sorrow nodded and said, "Then I'll tell you what I think. If you don't agree, I won't insist." Night Sorrow planned to sneak into Sky Tiger Pass and set up a concealment formation. Then, he would set up a teleportation formation and teleport everyone in the 9 Heavens army inside. That was the first step. The second step was not to rush into battle. He would set up formations in all the important military camps. Once the formations were activated, the enemy's army would be divided. The official battle plan was to first destroy the enemy's teleportation formation. Then, the 9 Heavens army would use their advantage to slowly erode the enemy's army. That would minimize the 9 Heavens army's losses. "Commander, this is very difficult. First of all, we can't enter. Even if there are people with high cultivation who can enter, the requirements for those who enter are extremely high because ordinary arrays can't trap the Sovereign King." Qin Leitang said. "That's right. Sky Tiger Pass is a meteorite iron wall. It's surrounded by a large formation. It's called the Sky Lock Formation. We can't fly or pass through it. I was able to get in because I was an illusion." Nu Lin shook his head. "I'll do it. If I succeed, we'll fight. If I can't, just pretend I didn't say anything," Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin and the other 3 generals. "Commander, you're the commander. How can the commander fight before the army moves?" Monarch Wei Wei shook his head. "Commanders are soldiers too. We just have different roles. Let me talk about my situation first. I'm king, a time and space dual attribute alchemist and blacksmith. I'm also a Sky Master alchemist. So, I'll be the one to increase our soft power. This is the responsibility of a commander," Night Sorrow said. "No." Nu Lin still shook his head. "How about this? I'll go with you. Even if we fail, we can bring you back," Sandalwood said. After Zhan Tan spoke, the 4 generals of the 9 Heavens armies stopped objecting. "General Nu Lin, do you have the guts to come with me?" Night Sorrow rolled up the blueprint and smiled at Nu Lin. "Of course, that's not a problem. I didn't support the commander's point of view because it involved the lives of countless soldiers in the 9 Heavens army. Now, I'm an individual. What am I afraid of?" Nu Lin patted his chest and said. "All right, everyone, stand by and prepare for battle. Senior brother, Furious Qilin Legion Commander, let's go," Yishang said. "Your subordinate wants to follow as well," said Summer City, who had been strolling outside. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow didn't refuse. This was something he couldn't refuse. After using the teleportation array twice, the 4 of them flew towards the Heaven Tiger Pass. The distance was still quite far. The 4 of them flew for a day before arriving at the outer region of the Heaven Tiger Pass. "Next, I'll have to trouble everyone." After setting up an illusion array and a teleportation array and inserting the teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow waved his arm and the dragon cauldron circled around him. "These are all spatial treasures." Summer City looked at the dragon cauldron and asked. "Yes, I'll let the weapon spirit open it up to you. Everyone will know what's going on outside," Night Sorrow said. "No problem." Sandalwood's body flashed and she entered the dragon cauldron. Summer City and Nu Lin also entered without hesitation. "Drink tea or drink wine?" Do as you please. Night Sorrow threw the tea and wine into the dragon cauldron. Then, with a slash of his right arm, he tore open space and flew in space. The spatial turbulence in the paramount world was very strong. Ordinary king couldn't fly in it, but Night Sorrow could. This was the strength of a spatial king. In addition, he had the time and space precepts to protect him. The spatial turbulence's suppression on him was still within his limits. After flying for 2 hours, Night Sorrow let the dragon cauldron suppress the spatial turbulence. He entered the dragon cauldron and drank some tea to recover. Then, he continued flying in the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow entered the spatial turbulence early because he didn't want to be discovered by the spies in the Heaven Tiger Pass. Looking at the original chapter, √Z, this commander-in-chief's strength is indeed strong. Ordinary mid-level king can't do this, Nu Lin said. He's an idiot. How can he be my junior? Am I an idiot too? Sandalwood glared at Nu Lin. Nu Lin smiled embarrassedly. Stop arguing, you two. We've reached the key area. The Heavenlock Matrix is just ahead. Let's see how His Highness will get through it. Summer City waved her hand and interrupted the conversation between Sandalwood and Nu Lin. Night Sorrow also felt that the spatial turbulence's pressure had increased. He couldn't fly at all. It was probably the effect of the Matrix's seal. Open. With a low roar, Night Sorrow activated Spatial Rend. He tore open the reinforced spatial turbulence and continued forward. After using Spatial Rend 5 times, Night Sorrow finally got through the reinforced spatial turbulence. At this point, his spatial energy was almost exhausted. That's it. Nu Lin's eyes widened. He was able to enter Sky Tiger Pass because he used Phantom Body. Phantom Body had no energy, so he had to hide behind the Red Emperor's spies. Night Sorrow had used brute force to get through. Power. This power is scary, but it's not the hardest part. Sandalwood nodded. The hardest part is how to break through the spatial barrier. It's easy to break through, but it's difficult to not create energy waves. If there is energy waves, we'll be discovered. Summer City's eyes were full of worry. He wasn't worried about Night Sorrow's safety. He was worried about Night Sorrow's failure. This battle was very important to Night Sorrow. 9 Heaven Army wanted to use this battle to solidify their position as the #1 army. Night Sorrow wanted to prove himself in front of the soldiers of 9 Heaven Army. After entering Sky Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow let the Dragon Cauldron continue to suppress the spatial turbulence. He went to rest. Junior brother, not bad. Don't rush. Let's take it slow and seize the opportunity. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Our next target is their large military field. They only use it when they're fighting. It's very suitable for our rendezvous point, Night Sorrow said after taking out the map and looking at it for a moment. Sky Tiger Pass military field was very big. It could hold tens of thousands of people. Because of the large area, they could set up an illusion formation and teleport their own people in without being discovered. We'll do as you say. Sandalwood was excited. He hadn't done something like this for many years. He was excited. After drinking a few sips of tea, Night Sorrow sat down to recover. After recovering, Night Sorrow continued to travel through the spatial turbulence. He was extremely fast. Even though Sky Tiger Pass was a small city with an area of 10,000 miles, Night Sorrow arrived at his destination in 15 minutes. The crucial moment had arrived. Now, it was up to Night Sorrow to get out and set up the formation. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow's silhouette in the spatial turbulence. Summer City and Nu Lin were also looking. They knew that there was no one around, but the ripples in the spatial turbulence couldn't be hidden from monarchs. There would be some monarchs in Sky Tiger Pass. Chapter 1159. Genius 1 second. Remember, for you to read. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow took out the space splitter and stretched his right arm forward. He condensed his Jin Chi and controlled the quantity, then used the Void Extreme Kill. As the purple dot jumped, the spatial barrier was melted into a small black dot. Now was the time. This was the chance Night Sorrow needed. He flashed into the 8-Dragon Cauldron and controlled the 8-Dragon Cauldron, which had shrunk to the size of a grain of sand, to rush out of the spatial turbulence and into the world of Heaven Tiger Pass. Phew. Let's see if anyone is here to investigate, Night Sorrow said after taking 2 deep breaths. No, there are almost no fluctuations. We won't be discovered. Your Highness, what's that move? Summer City asked. It's a special battle technique. I'll start setting up the array in a moment, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Be careful, Commander, Nu Lin said. He felt that they could succeed as long as they were careful. As long as Night Sorrow made the first move, the 9 Heavens army would be useless if they couldn't take down Heaven Tiger Pass. He also knew why Night Sorrow had brought him here. He wanted him to watch the whole process. When the battle started, he wouldn't refute and would only support. After waiting for a while and making sure that no one had discovered them, Night Sorrow controlled the 8-Dragon Cauldron and moved it to the inner part of the field. He began to move. Night Sorrow was setting up the array in the 8-Dragon Cauldron. He kept throwing out spirit stones. The field was very hard, but Night Sorrow's energy had the ability to cut through space. It was no problem for him to penetrate deep into the ground. 15 minutes later, Night Sorrow looked at Sandalwood and the other 2. Whether we're discovered or not depends on this hammer. After speaking, Night Sorrow threw out a spirit stone. This was the spirit stone to activate a small 1000 development illusionary array. It was the last array foundation of the array. The space fluctuated for a while and stabilized. Night Sorrow also flashed out of the 8-Dragon Cauldron and stood in the array. At this time, a group of people came to the edge of the field. They took a look and left. They had felt the energy fluctuations, but they were not strong. They thought that it might have been caused by someone's cultivation and left. Night Sorrow shook the 8-Dragon Cauldron and brought Sandalwood and the others out. They can't see us. Now is the time for us to carry out our plan, Night Sorrow said excitedly. Very good. We have a high chance of winning. Everything else aside, once we set up the teleportation array, we will start the battle. Without the defensive array of Sky Tiger Pass, our 9 Heavens Legion will not be afraid of them. Nu Lin was also very excited. No. It's best we leave some backup plans and make more preparations. That will reduce our losses. Night Sorrow shook his head as he continued setting up and expanding the array formation. Summer City also had things to do. Every time Night Sorrow set up an array formation, he would use his will and rule power to help hide the energy fluctuations. This was different from when he tore open the space barrier. That was the energy fluctuations between 2 worlds. He could not help hide it, but now he could help. 4 hours later, a large illusion array with a diameter of more than 10 miles was set up by Night Sorrow. In the middle of the illusion array, Night Sorrow also set up a teleportation array. After setting up the teleportation crystal, the crystal lit up. Forever be forever free read novel, what's the next step? Nu Lin's face was red. He was too excited. It was almost time for him to make a name for himself. Night Sorrow said, next, I'll need your help. Senior brother, go to the Qing Emperor's palace and apply for a battle. Also, tell him about the defense area. Also, Nu Lin Monarch, teleport back and find someone to set up a teleportation array so that our men can enter the battle quickly. Junior brother, you have to be the one to request the battle. You are the commander of the army. If you want to slap someone in the face, it will only hurt you. Once Nu Lin finishes setting up the teleportation formation, we can go back together and request the battle. It won't take much time. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and shook his head. Night Sorrow said, that's fine. Our next target is the Sky Tiger Army's 4 barracks. When the battle starts, they won't be able to coordinate with each other. It'll be easier for us. Next, Yi Shang entered the 8-dragon cauldron. He led Sandalwood and Xia Cheng, who had also entered, to the nearest military camp. Then, he began to set up the array formation. This time, Yi Shang set up the Heavenly Adept Grade 1000 Diffraction Array formation that he had developed after his array formation cultivation had advanced. Normally, it would be difficult to set up an array formation in a barracks because there were many experts. However, because there were so many experts, no one was on guard. Everyone thought that the small energy fluctuations were caused by cultivation. Night Sorrow used half a day to set up an array formation around the barracks. Back in the 8-dragon cauldron, Night Sorrow knocked his forehead. I can't go on. I didn't bring enough spirit stones. The 9 Heavens Army's resources are managed by the 4 generals. I don't have any with me. Sandalwood was stunned when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Don't worry. There's something I haven't told you yet. You took His Majesty's reward and the Samsara token. Manager, he didn't think it was safe for her to keep the 30,000 sacred spirit stones, so she left them with me. Summer City took out a storage ring and handed it to Night Sorrow. You came at the right time, so we can continue. Senior brother, Uncle Xia, remember the location of the formation. Once the battle starts, don't worry about anything else. Just insert 2 Holy Spirit stones filled with energy into the ground of the formation and the formation will be activated. Only a few soldiers in this camp will be able to escape, said Yi Shang. Night Sorrow then used 3 days to set up the cutting array formation in the other 3 barracks. After returning to the illusion array, Night Sorrow let Sandalwood and Uncle Xia out. He brewed a pot of tea and thought. At that moment, Nu Lin arrived with the other 3 generals. Commander, when are we going to fight? Qin Leitang asked. I forgot about a very important issue, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Junior brother, the cutting array formation in the barracks are set up. Is there anything that can affect the battle? Sandalwood asked. My idea has always been to fight and take it. But how do we defend it after we take it? The 2 sides of Heaven Tiger Pass are ancient glaciers that cannot be crossed. Therefore, this canyon became a natural stronghold. The Crimson Emperor Kingdom has been operating for countless years, and it is all about defense. The direction of the stronghold's defense is facing our Azure Imperial Dynasty, and they don't have any defenses against themselves. This led to the fact that after we took it, there was no natural defense. If they want to fight, they will fight. How many people do we have in the 9 Heavens Legion to fight them? Night Sorrow's words made them fall into deep thought. This was indeed a difficult problem. I can set up some arrays, but they're not good enough. I can only use them in the middle of a battle. If I just leave them there and wait for them to break, they won't be able to do it. I don't have that ability, Night Sorrow explained. Your Highness, I'm sorry. I only know how to fight. I don't know how to set up arrays, Summer City said apologetically. How about this? We'll report this to His Majesty. If we can't defend it, then we'll destroy it. No one will want this stronghold in the future. If we want to fight, then we'll fight to our heart's content. Our 9 Heavens Army has never been afraid of anyone, Tranquility said. Chapter 1160. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. Good. I also need to prepare a battle report. Zhan Tan nodded. All of you wait here quietly. Don't do anything rash. Night Sorrow looked at the 9 Heavens Army's sovereigns and said. Your Highnesses, please go quickly. I'm in a hurry. Wei Wei said. Night Sorrow and Zhan Tan sat on the teleportation formation set up by the 9 Heavens Army's formation master and returned to the 9 Heavens building. After a short discussion, Night Sorrow and Zhan Tan arrived at the Qing Emperor's palace's military headquarters. The Azure Supreme Arch Dynasty was a huge peak faction, a super dynasty. Without the Azure Supreme Thearcha's interference, everything was run independently. There were also officials overseeing everything. When the two arrived at the military headquarters, a few elders stood up to greet Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan. Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan returned the greeting and sat down. "I'm Military Commander Tan Lin. Your Highnesses should be here for the Nine Heavens Army's defensive zone, right?" An elder from the military headquarters asked. "Yes. Call Qing Lin and Qing Yuan over." Jean Tan pulled Knight Sorrow and sat down. Tan Lin nodded and sent someone to inform Qing Lin and Qing Yuan. Now that there were two armies in the empire, the Qilin army naturally couldn't monopolize the defensive zone. After Qing Lin received the message, he informed Qing Yuan and the two met at Qing Lin Palace. "They should be asking for a defensive zone. Brother, you can say that our defense is very good. Give them a barren zone. They can take it or leave it," Qing Yuan said. Qing Lin nodded. He had the same idea. If they insisted on arguing over a defensive zone, Jean Tan and Knight Sorrow would lose face. It wouldn't be easy for them to build up their reputation again. When they arrived at the military headquarters, the four princes sat on the two sides of a long table. Below them were some officials from the military headquarters. "Your Highnesses, please take a look at the defensive zones. After that, you all can discuss how to divide the defensive zones," Tan Lin said as he took out a military blueprint and placed it on the table. "Our Lin Yuan army has defended Dynasty's territory well. Now that the Nine Heavens army wants to take over, it will mess up our original plan. Let's find a place that won't affect the current situation." Green Unicorn immediately rejected the idea of taking action in Dynasty's territory. "Is the situation good now? I haven't participated in any wars for 5 million years. Qing Lin, what territory have you guys taken for Dynasty? This used to belong to Dynasty, and this used to belong to Dynasty. But now, it belongs to someone else. Is it because you're not capable enough, or did you give it to them?" Jean Tan pointed at a few spots on the map. "What do you mean?" Qing Lin was embarrassed by Si Tan's words. "I just wanted to tell you to behave yourself in front of me. Don't be so arrogant. If it wasn't for my master, you're just a piece of shit." Jean Tan stood up and pointed at Qing Lin. "You've gone too far." Qing Lin stood up too. "Defense zone, Nine Heavens army wants it here." Jean Tan looked at Qing Lin Crown Prince and pointed at the map. "Impossible. That's the area that I've guarded for 5 million years. You want it?" "Impossible." Qing Lin shouted as he looked at the area that Jean Tan pointed at. "Don't be so arrogant. Why should you take it just because you want it?" Green Phoenix stood up too. "I won't bully you guys." "Knight Sorrow, tell them why." Jean Tan nodded at Knight Sorrow. "Generals, in this area, the Qing Emperor's dynasty has always been suppressed. We've always been on the defensive. The Green Qilin army can't change this situation. The resources that we've used up every year are a burden to the dynasty. Therefore, the Nine Heavens army wants to take over and change this," Knight Sorrow said. "The Green Qilin army can't change this, but you can." Qing Lin looked at Knight Sorrow with disdain. "The Red Emperor's country has always been plundering the Qing Emperor's dynasty using Heaven Tiger Pass as proof. You guys can't change this, but I can. Therefore, you have to give it up," Knight Sorrow said. "Head. Hair, shameless boasting. If you can take it, the Lin Yuan army will give you the area you want. If you can't, then don't talk so big in the future. The Nine Heavens army will retreat when they see the Lin Yuan army." Qing Lin slammed the table and shouted. "Insulting Knight Sorrow is nothing, but insulting the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army? Qing Lin, you're really something. Since you said that, I have something to say too. What if I take it down? I won't ask the Lin Yuan army to do anything, but you'll take a detour when you see the Nine Heavens war flag. Do you dare bet?" Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Lin coldly. Do you think I'm afraid of trash like you? I'll give you 1 month. If you can't take down Heaven Tiger Pass in 1 month, then scram, Qing Lin shouted again. Military officials, we're all witnesses to today's bet. It's settled. Zhan Tan stood up and said. The military officials all stood up and cupped their hands. They knew that the army's defense area would be a big problem, but they didn't expect the conflict to be so intense. Junior brother, have some tea with master. We're going to work. Zhan Tan called out to Night Sorrow, and the two of them walked towards the Azure Sky Pavilion. The two of them stood outside the pavilion for a while, then Xian Daozi invited them in. Did you have a fight? Night Sorrow, what are you planning to do? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm here today to ask Master some questions. Master, please make a decision. Night Sorrow bowed. You're both important. I won't ask about what's going on between you two. Qing Emperor shook his head. He was worried that Night Sorrow would have concerns. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking if the Qing Emperor's dynasty wants Heaven Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow said. Yes or no? Do you have to just say it? Qing Emperor looked surprised. Master, if you say no, I'll turn it into a wasteland. If you want it, then you'll have to think of something, Night Sorrow said. You can turn it into a wasteland? Qing Emperor stood up. He didn't ask about the war between the dynasties, but he knew how important Heaven Tiger Pass was to the Red Emperor's kingdom and Qing Emperor's dynasty. He knew how much influence it had. Yes, I've already made some preparations. I wanted to take it, but I can't. Heaven Tiger Pass is currently defending against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They don't have any defenses against themselves. If I take it down, I won't be able to defend it. If it falls into their hands, it'll be a threat to us. Night Sorrow took out the map of Heaven Tiger Pass and placed it on the table. Then, he pointed out the key points. Night Sorrow, Master, this is a good map. Why are you messing it up? Xian Daozi looked at the map and pouted. This isn't messing it up. The places marked here are areas that you can control, Zhan Tan said with a smile. What? Night Sorrow, you can control these places? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow with surprise. Chapter 1161. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. How can we give up Sky Tiger Pass? We have to. They spent a lot of effort and resources to build it. It would be a pity to destroy it. The Sky Tiger Pass is a natural formation, but I've studied it and can change it to our advantage. As long as you can take it down, I'll find a way to help you build the defense. If you need resources and manpower, the dynasty will provide it. The Qing Emperor made his decision. Okay, then I'll wait for the news. Night Sorrow bowed. Night Sorrow, once this matter is settled, I will help you forge a monarch-ranked battle suit. This is the array disc for the Great Disorienting Fog Array. After taking down Heaven Tiger Pass, release the Disorienting Fog Array in the area you need to defend. Then, inform me. The Azure Supreme the Arch handed Night Sorrow an array disc. Thank you, Master. I'll take my leave. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow and Sandal returned to the 9-story tower. They each drank a jar of wine at the corner of the tower with the Jyotian battle flag. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Sandal teleported back to Sky Tiger Pass. Commander, when are we going to fight? Sky Tiger Pass is right in front of us. Nu Lin was a little anxious. Night Sorrow then told them about the Qing Emperor's decision. Commander, please give the order. Nu Lin and the other 3 bowed. Send the people here now. I'll go to the commander's office to poison them. Then we'll start the fight. Night Sorrow said. Junior brother, we can't do that. You can't use poison in the world of samsara unless you're a practitioner of poison. There's no restriction in individual fights, but if you use poison in a group fight, you'll be a public enemy. That's the rule. Sandal pulled Night Sorrow back. Then we can only fight according to the current situation. Send the people here first and then assign the task. Night Sorrow nodded. The 9 Heavens Legion, who were already prepared, quickly teleported into the illusion array. Although it was a little crowded, it was still very quiet. Next, we'll arrange for the battle. 2 military regions will attack one of the enemy's armies in a pincer attack. We'll fight according to the arrangement of the military camps. The 2 armies will be led by 1 army commander. Thunder Army Commander, you'll lead the Thunder Army and Ding Xiang Army to attack this place. Night Sorrow pointed at Sky Tiger Stronghold's northwest military camp on the map. I promise to complete the mission. Qin Leitang tapped his chest armor. General Tranquility, lead the Angry Lin Army and the Tranquility Army to attack the southeast barracks. Night Sorrow gave Tranquility the mission. I promise to complete the mission. Tranquility tapped his chest plate with his left hand. Remember one thing. If something unexpected happens and you can't hold on any longer, just pour your energy into the ground and hit 2 Holy Spirit stones. That way, you'll be able to trap the enemy, Night Sorrow instructed Qin Leitang and Enping. Where is your subordinate? Nu Lin asked. Don't rush. One by one. After the battle begins, Senior Brother, Old Summer, you 2 will activate the killing array outside the southwest and northeast barracks and trap the enemy. Me, General Nu Lin Army Commander, and General Wei Wei will destroy the teleportation array. Then, we'll meet up at the Stronghold Commander's office. That's where the battle will take place, Night Sorrow said to Zhan Tan and Summer City. Okay. Zhan Tan nodded. Your Highness, be careful. Your subordinate will go and complete the mission Your Highness has assigned. Although Summer City wasn't willing, he couldn't go against Night Sorrow's will at this time. Brothers, I, Night Sorrow, am very sorry. My combat power is limited, so I'll have to rely on everyone for the upcoming battle. I only have one request, and that is to stay alive. After the battle, everyone must stay alive. Night Sorrow turned around and bowed to the 9 Heavens Legion. Everyone bowed back to Night Sorrow. Also, General Lei Ting and General Wei Ning, be careful. If the northwest and southeast barracks don't have any sovereigns, then you must support the Stronghold Commander's office as soon as possible. Their experts might be at the Stronghold Commander's office, Night Sorrow reminded Qin Leitang and Wei Ning. Your subordinate understands. Qin Leitang and Wei Ning nodded. Draw your weapons and raise your battle flag. Let's fight. Night Sorrow shouted and opened up a gap in the illusion array. As for the teleportation array, Night Sorrow didn't send anyone to guard it because Sky Tiger Pass didn't have the ability to counterattack. Once the illusion array was opened, the 9 Heavens Legion moved. Night Sorrow flew towards the teleportation array while Nu Lin Army Commander and Wei 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 followed closely behind Night Sorrow. After arriving at the teleportation formation, Nu Lin's giant halberd slashed towards the 2 monarchs guarding the teleportation formation. Wei Wei waved his sharp sword and killed some of the guards with his sword chi. Night Sorrow arrived at the teleportation formation and removed a few teleportation crystals. Then, he destroyed the teleportation formation. Alright, let's go to the Stronghold Commander's office. Once we take it down, the situation will be settled. Night Sorrow said and flew towards the Stronghold Commander's office. Commander, slow down. Nu Lin Army Commander rode his beast and followed Night Sorrow. He was afraid that if something happened to Night Sorrow, then Zhan Tan wouldn't forgive him and the Qing Emperor would take care of her. After flying for a while, Summer City and Zhan Tan arrived. The 2 of them were there to complete their mission, but they were also worried about Night Sorrow's safety. This was a battle between King and Overlord level. Night Sorrow's 2-star King was too weak. If the Overlord level attacked, he would die in one hit. Then, the few of them arrived at the Stronghold Commander's office. At this time, the Sky Tiger Pass was filled with whistles, drums, and thunder. Everyone knew that they had been ambushed. When Night Sorrow and the others arrived, 3 people walked out of the Stronghold Commander's office. Summer City. You are here to do such a sneaky thing. An old man looked at Summer City and said. Jiang Zheng, aren't you here too? Summer City waved his sword and said. I am Majesty 4's protector. Majesty 4 is the commander. Of course, I am here. The old man with a cold aura, Jiang Zheng, said. What a coincidence. I am Night Sorrow's protector. He is the commander of the 9 Heavens Army. So, I am here. No need to say anything. Let's fight. Summer City waved his sword and slashed at the old man. You will all die today. Zhan Tan also held his blood-red sword in his hand. Zhan Tan. Your Majesty, let's go. He is Zhan Tan. Seeing Zhan Tan's sword, Jiang Zheng shouted. Zhan Tan. Are you crazy? The white-clothed youth standing in front of the Stronghold Commander's office said. I am crazy, but I am fine. Zhan Tan said. It is not a shame that I lost to you. The white-clothed man's face was very calm. Chiwa, you are wrong. You did not lose to me. You lost to my junior brother, Night Sorrow. Zhan Tan pointed at Night Sorrow with his left hand. Night Sorrow. 9 Domain Worlds Night Sorrow. Seems like you are doing well in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. You didn't handle the Red Capital matter well and ended up in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The white-clothed man looked at Night Sorrow and thought of something. I will kill you today. Nu Lin waved his halberd and slashed at Chiwa. However, another man beside Chiwa stopped Nu Lin. Chapter 1162. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel to read. Wei Wei, protect His Highness Night Sorrow. Sandalwood brandished her blade. The blood-red blade carried a soul-shaking aura. There were even black threads circulating within the blade. Destruction energy. Although it was only a small amount, Night Sorrow knew that it was destruction energy. Night Sorrow finally understood why Sandalwood was so famous. It was because her attributes and willpower were strong. The intensity of her attacks was not something an ordinary cultivator could possess. Your Highness, run! Jiang Zheng roared. His roar was filled with despair because Summer City had already chopped off his left shoulder and arm. After shouting, his body was shrouded in blood as he tried to escape. Do you think you can escape today? Universe's 7 murders. Summer City brandished his blade and executed his ultimate move. It was considered a test since Jiang Zheng was not on the same level as the Tsangyin monarch. He had to be cautious. As Summer City executed his ultimate move, the heavily injured Jiang Zheng's body was sliced into pieces. However, Summer City, who had taken his weapon and interspatial ring, knew that it was only his combat doppelganger that was killed. At this moment, Sandalwood had also killed White-Robe Chiwa. Chiwa attacked a few times to test the waters. He didn't dodge and allowed Sandalwood's blade to kill him. The one that died was also his combat doppelganger. Nu Lin had also finished his battle. Nu Lin, Wei Wei, go back to your respective legions. Without their commanders here, Lei Ting and Calm Peace Legion will be under pressure, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin and Wei Wei. The 2 of you can go. Elder Xia and I will stay here. Night Sorrow's safety is not a problem. The 3 of us will occupy the Stronghold Commander's residence. Sandalwood nodded when she saw Nu Lin and Wei Wei looking at Night Sorrow. After dealing with the 2 barracks, the 2 of you will surround the nearest barracks. Take care of the soldiers that rush out. Don't let a single one escape. If you can subdue them, tie them up. Do you have any ideas? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, Commander, don't worry. Nu Lin and Wei Wei nodded. They now admired Night Sorrow from the bottom of their hearts. The army needed such a strategist. Summer City and Sandalwood followed Night Sorrow into the stronghold commander's office. The two of them were filled with killing intent, and they killed anyone they saw. Moments later, the commander-in-chief's residence was taken down. Those who weren't killed were sent to the courtyard. There was a group of people kneeling there, as well as some women. These were Chiwa's family members. All of you, quiet down. War is cruel, but I won't harm the innocent. Uncle Xia, watch this place. No one is allowed to touch the resources of the commander-in-chief's office, Night Sorrow said to Summer City. What about you, Your Highness? Summer City did not want to leave Night Sorrow's side. Senior brother and I will go to the other battlefield to take a look. There are still 2 troops trapped by the death trap array that need to be dealt with. We will come over once we are done, Night Sorrow said. Summer City thought for a moment and nodded. With Sandalwood by Night Sorrow's side, it was unrealistic for anyone to touch Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow arrived at the Northwest military camp and realized that the battle had already ended. A few large metal cages were filled with captives. A small group of Thunder Army soldiers was guarding them. The leader of the guards was Ah Chio. Greetings, Commander. Ah Chio and his men bowed to Night Sorrow. Watch them well and don't mistreat them. Soldiers who protect their country deserve respect. After the battle, there will be appropriate arrangements, Night Sorrow said to Ah Chio. Soon after, Night Sorrow arrived at the northeast barracks, where the battle was still going on. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei led the Thunder Army and Ding Xiang Army to surround the perimeter of the confinement killing array. They captured and killed the soldiers who rushed out. Commander, you are here. Everything is going well, Qin Leitang said as he waved the large sword in his hand. How are the casualties? Night Sorrow asked. This was what he was most worried about. He didn't want his brothers who came with him to be carried back. There are very few deaths. Some are seriously injured, but more are lightly injured. Qin Leitang's face was filled with excitement when he said this. That's good. We will continue to deal with them in this manner. When there are no more enemies rushing out and there are no more experts left inside, we will release the death trap array and wipe them all out. Night Sorrow waved his arm. Yes. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei bowed. Alright, I will go to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army to take a look. Another small group will be sent to the stronghold commander's office to maintain order. Night Sorrow instructed and went to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army and Ning with Sandalwood. The situation at the southwest military camp where the angry Qilin army and Ping army were at was similar to Qin Leitang's. Night Sorrow arranged for the heavily injured to rest. They would first surround and kill them, then release the death trap array and finish them off once and for all. Following which, Yishang and Santan flew along the terrain of the Heaven Tiger Pass. When they reached the edge of the city, Yishang took out the arrayed disc that the Azure Supreme the Arch had given him and threw it into the air to activate it. The array was activated and a fog shrouded the surroundings. After doing this, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the stronghold commander's office. At this time, the 9 Heavens War flag was erected in the corner of the stronghold commander's office. The outcome is set. Junior brother, you did well. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. He was quite impressed. Sandalwood was an invincible commander with tyrannical combat strength. He was good at fighting and killing. He couldn't have used tactics like Night Sorrow to easily end the battle with almost no casualties. Senior brother, don't praise me. The 9 Heavens army is strong enough. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to win this battle. Night Sorrow smiled and shook his head. In the main hall of the stronghold commander's office, Summer City hugged his sword and sat. When he saw Night Sorrow and Sandalwood enter the hall, he stood up. Uncle Xia, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip and tell Master that Heaven Tiger Pass has been taken. Now, we need to hurry up and figure out how to build a defense. Otherwise, when the enemy counterattacks, our great fog array alone won't be enough, Yi Shan said to Xia Cheng. Okay, I will go immediately. Your Highness, please don't leave Princess Sandalwood and the other commanders. Safety is important. Summer City reminded Yi Shuan before leaving. Senior brother, after taking down this place, we can use it as a base to attack and defend. It will also be convenient for us to fight against the Dark Abyss, Night Sorrow said. Soldiers always want to make a name for themselves in their first battle. Junior brother, you are ruthless enough. You are destined to be recorded in the history of the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood then walked around the Stronghold Commander's office. Sandalwood didn't know what Night Sorrow was doing. However, after walking for a while, Night Sorrow's face changed. Senior brother, attack the ground. There really is a teleportation portal. Night Sorrow held the sky splitter and attacked the ground. When Sandalwood heard Night Sorrow's words, her face changed as well. She slashed the ground with her battle sword. A few feet away, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood slashed through the ground. It was an underground armory. There was a teleportation portal in the middle. There were a few guards on both sides of the portal. One was an overlord and the other was a king. Kill! Sandalwood's battle sword slashed towards the guards. The guards' faces changed. They didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. They could only fight with their weapons. Chapter 1163. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. The guards were pushed back by Sandalwood, giving Night Sorrow a chance. When Night Sorrow destroyed the teleportation formation, the guards' expressions changed. We don't have a chance. He's escaped. I'll hold him back. You guys kill that one. He's the key. The Sovereign Lord saw that the teleportation formation was destroyed and shouted, then pounced on Sandalwood. At this moment, Night Sorrow used the spatial Ren to charge upwards. He could not see the cultivation levels of the guards. What else could he do other than run? All of you must die. Sandalwood waved his battle saber and slashed at Night Sorrow's back. He was covering for Night Sorrow. He could not stop all of them, so he could only stop most of them. Night Sorrow came out of the ground, turned around, and used the ultimate kill. Killing one is enough. King, who had dodged Sandalwood's attack and caught up to Night Sorrow, swung his sword. The difference between their cultivation levels was too great. This man's sword had forced Night Sorrow back. If it weren't for the spatial shockwave behind Night Sorrow's Heavenly Desolation absolute kill, he would have been severely injured. Brothers, go! Sensing the intense energy waves, Chio and the rest immediately formed a battle formation to stop King from attacking Night Sorrow. Chio and the rest were not King's match. However, this King's target was Night Sorrow and did not attack Chio and the rest. Therefore, Chio and the rest were able to block him. The ground in the distance was shaking violently. The battle was still going on. Just as Yi Shang and the others were being suppressed by this sovereign king whose cultivation was unknown, Wei Wei appeared. She had originally come back to ask Yi Shang to release the death trap array, but when she saw the situation, she was instantly enraged. She waved her battle saber and suppressed this sovereign king. After a few slashes, she killed this sovereign king. At this moment, Sandalwood rushed out of the ground with his saber in hand. Junior brother, are you alright? Don't worry, I was right. They have a backup teleportation array, Night Sorrow said. Commander, what's going on? Wei Wei asked. I was worried that other than the teleportation array in the middle of the stronghold, there were other hidden teleportation arrays as well. I didn't have the time to conduct a large-scale search. Senior apprentice brother and I walked around the commander's manor and discovered a hidden teleportation array. Now, the hidden teleportation array has been destroyed. Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. If they hadn't discovered the hidden teleportation array, it would have been a huge problem. Fortunately, junior brother, you are fine. If something happened to you, how am I going to explain it to master? Sandalwood was a little angry. The opponent had really caught Night Sorrow and tried to kill him. What Sandalwood and Night Sorrow didn't know was that after Chi-Hua returned, he had begun his counterattack. At this moment, he was mobilizing his men and had even instructed them to pay attention to a person called Night Sorrow. Therefore, the people guarding the teleportation array killed Night Sorrow as soon as they saw him. Commander, it's like this. We no longer have anyone who can escape from the death trap array. Therefore, I came to ask you to release the death trap array and finish them off, Wei Wei said. Alright, I'll release the array. It's better to finish them off as soon as possible. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow went to release the array and Sandalwood followed. He didn't dare to leave Night Sorrow's side. If an expert appeared, it would be troublesome. He didn't want the same thing to happen again. After that, Night Sorrow released the arrays of the two camps. The two armies of the Nine Heavens Legion didn't feel any pressure to kill one army that didn't have much strength left. The Nine Heavens Legion had cages that were specially used to detain prisoners. Night Sorrow had ordered that those who didn't resist were not to be killed. The furious Qilin army went to guard the area sealed off by the fog array. The Enping army and Ding Xiang army went to maintain the peace of Heaven Tiger Pass. The other thing was to search for blind spots. Those who didn't wear the insignia of the Nine Heavens Legion were all captured and detained. Look at the original chapter. The Thunderbolt army was to guard the commander's manor and the prisoners. When Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the commander's manor, they saw the Qing Emperor standing in the main hall. Summer City and Xian Daozi were standing to the side. Very good. The Qing Emperor's officials will arrive soon. I'll go set up the array. The impregnable pass has to face impregnable passes on both sides. The Qing Emperor nodded to Night Sorrow and left with Xian Daozi. Your Highness, someone just reported that you were attacked. Are you alright? Summer City asked Night Sorrow. With senior brother here, I'll be fine. Night Sorrow smiled. Soon, someone came to the commander's manor to report that the Qing Emperor's army and the Ministry of Works had sent people over. Night Sorrow arrived near the teleportation array. Your Highness, your subordinate Lin Hui from the Ministry of Works has been ordered to bring people here. His Majesty has ordered us to follow your Highness's orders. Lin Hui bowed. Your subordinate Tan Lin is now at your Highness's disposal. Tan Lin from the Ministry of Works had arrived. Sirs, please make the preparations. Deliver the materials and arrange for the workers. After that, go to the fog array to survey the terrain. Then, draw up the defensive blueprints. Night Sorrow said. After giving his instructions, Yi Shang returned to the commander's office. Now, he had to deal with a problem, which was how to deal with these captives. Senior brother, I would like to ask, how do we deal with the prisoners in the past? Night Sorrow asked Sandalwood. It's simple. You either submit or kill them. There is no third option. Sandalwood said. No, there are so many of them. If we kill them if they don't submit, how many people will we have to kill? Night Sorrow shook his head and refused. He didn't want to break up other people's families because of him. The elderly would lose their children and the young would lose their father's love. Don't kill them. Let them go. Then no one will be afraid of your Nine Heavens army. They won't feel pressured to fight you. Soldiers don't kill. This won't work. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said. Senior brother, I don't want to do things against my will. However, I won't harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and Nine Heavens army. Night Sorrow sighed. Okay, think about it. Don't feel too pressured. If you don't want to do it, I will do it. Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow smiled at Sandalwood. He knew that this was his senior brother. He was willing to take on anything for him. Everything in Heaven Tiger Pass was proceeding in an orderly manner. Knight Sorrow was still studying the blueprints of Heaven Tiger Pass. In the future, this would be the base of the Nine Heavens Army. There were some problems that needed to be solved. Knight Sorrow had already approved the blueprints from the Ministry of Works and the military department. The craftsmen had already begun construction on the other side of Heaven Tiger Pass. After 7 days, the Qing Emperor returned. The formation is complete. It is called the Great Emperor's Heaven Sealing Formation. It has the same effect as the Heaven Sealing Formation over there. This is a passageway formation plate. In other words, you need to activate the formation plate to open a path. If you want to go out and fight, you can go out and fight. Without the formation plate, you can't enter or leave. The Qing Emperor handed a formation plate to Knight Sorrow. Thank you, Master. Knight Sorrow took the formation plate and bowed to the Qing Emperor. As for the Heaven Sealing Formation, I will also take care of it. I will make it so that only those with the passageway formation plate can control it. Otherwise, it will be the Heaven Sealing Formation of our Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1164. Genius 1 second. Remember, for you to read. What's wrong? Qing Emperor asked. Master, it's my fault. I don't have a good idea on how to deal with the captives. Knight Sorrow said. I believe you can handle it well. I won't ask. Qing Supreme the Arch nodded. He had just heard Sandalwood's words and knew that Yi Shang would not face such a problem again. Shock. It was a real shock. The Azure Emperor dynasty was shaken. The Nine Heaven Legion, under the leadership of the new commander, His Highness Yi Shang, used only 1 day to take down the famous Heaven Tiger Pass in the world of Samsara. After the Heaven Tiger Pass was built in the Crimson Emperor dynasty, it had not changed owners for countless years. Now it was the Heaven Tiger Pass of the Azure Emperor dynasty. In Qinglin Palace, Qinglin was dispirited and his eyes were cold. Qingyuan sat beside him and didn't say anything. They didn't expect Knight Sorrow to really do it. He took down Heaven Tiger Pass in such a short time with the smallest price. The military department reported that less than 50 people died. This was less than 1% of the total number of casualties. This was a loss-free war. We lost. Qinglin took a sip of wine and said. Brother, we just lost. Sandalwood doesn't want to lead the Legion anymore. How long can he be powerful? We could hold on until Sandalwood fell. We can also hold on until he falls. Our Qingyuan Legion is not weaker than him. His cultivation is still low. This is a shortcoming. Qingyuan said. I'll hold on until he dies. Qinglin cursed. Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi, who were studying and dealing with the Heaven Lock Formation, were chatting. It's been less than a year. Yi Shang has only been in our Azure the Arch Empire for less than a year, and he has changed so much. Are my sons and daughters really stupid? No. Qing Emperor looked at Xian Daozi and said. The Heaven Lock Formation was not easy to deal with. It was a natural formation and had been dealt with by the masters of the Red Emperor's kingdom. Now the Qing Emperor had to refine and change it slowly. The key is that he has the support of Sandalwood. Your Majesty's love, Sandalwood's assistance, and his own strength, led to this outcome, Xian Daozi said. That's the main point. If he can get Sandalwood's support, why can't Qinglin, Qingyuan, and the other princes do the same? It's human nature. Knight Sorrow didn't want my only senior brother to be helpless in the dark dungeon, so he tried to help him. However, my other children couldn't wait to step on Sandalwood again, so the result was different, said the Qing Emperor. Anyone with great virtue must have a heart that ordinary people find difficult to possess. Knight Sorrow has such a heart, and besides, he has never thought about fighting for anything. He is actually someone who cares about his own strength, which is very similar to His Majesty, Xian Daozi said. The status that comes with one's own strength is the most stable. He became the king of time and space when he was a little over 100 years old. Slowly settling down, his strength will not be a problem, and he has a lot of space, said the Qing Emperor as he studied the Heavenlock formation. He is a little over 100 years old, and this achievement shows that he is very talented. Now that he is the commander of the army, his achievements will be great. He can go to the Samsara Palace whenever he wants. It would be strange if his cultivation did not improve quickly, Xian Dozi said with a smile. Ha! You see it very clearly. Now I want to see how he deals with the captives. This is the best time to see human nature, said the Qing Emperor. Your Majesty, you have to go back and do work. Don't forget that you promised him a monarch-level armor, said Xian Daozi. The original Q version are, it doesn't matter. It is worth it to have such a disciple. The Qing Emperor smiled. He was in a very good mood. Master and disciple were like father and son. Knight Sorrow was sensible and principled. The Qing Emperor admired him very much. Even if his son lost a battle, he was still happy. Knight Sorrow also started to get busy. In the impregnable pass built by the Emperor Heavenlock formation that the Qing Emperor had set up, he set up some trap and kill formations and illusionary formations. Now, his formation skills were very high, because the clone in the Heavenlock Hall had been deducing and studying formations. Then, Knight Sorrow made adjustments to the defense of some of the strongholds in the pass. After refining the Heavenlock formation, the original entrance and exit was closed, and the new entrance and exit was made. When the Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi finished refining the formation plate, they went to see the other side of the Heaven Tiger Pass. They noticed the formation that Knight Sorrow had set up. Using the Emperor's Heaven Sealing formation and the Impregnable Pass as the foundation, you also set up a confinement killing formation and an illusory killing formation with only one entrance. Very good. The formation is also quite decent. Seeing the formation that Yi Shang had set up, the Azure Emperor nodded in satisfaction. Why don't you teach him some of my divination techniques? Xian Dozi said. If he walks the path of wisdom and support, he can become a great talent. Hold it right there, the Qing Emperor said, glaring at Xian Daozi. You're not allowed to bring that up again. You're my old friend, so I won't bring it up again. Next time, if anyone dares to bring it up again, I'll kill them. Yes, sir. Xian Daozi said, bowing slightly. Remember, the Qing Emperor said. He needs to achieve great things. Support cultivation is fine, but don't touch the heretical path. Your subordinate understands, Xian Daozi said, a bit taken aback. He had never imagined that the Qing Emperor would react so strongly. You don't understand, the Qing Emperor said. You'll understand in the future. Xian Daozi nodded. He understood that Knight Sorrow still had other things he didn't know about. The Qing Emperor had high hopes for Knight Sorrow, otherwise he wouldn't have reacted so strongly. Everyone in the Red Emperor's nation was in a state of panic. Even the Red Emperor, who hadn't shown his face for a long time, had appeared. He was tall and slender, and wore a red robe and a violet gold crown. He stood in the middle of the Red Emperor's palace. The Red Emperor looked like a young man, perhaps in his 20s. However, his face radiated a murderous aura. Father, Chiwa said, stepping forward, it was my fault. Please punish me. Tell me, how did you lose Heaven Tiger Pass? The Red Emperor asked. Chiwa bowed and said, I don't know. I don't know how someone managed to sneak in through the Heaven Tiger Pass. Then, they set up a concealment array in Heaven Tiger Pass and teleported their army in. They then used the array to trap and kill my army. I was unable to fight back. Also, the secret teleportation array was discovered and destroyed, and a large array appeared at the entrance to the pass. So, our counterattack was delayed. Heaven Tiger Pass, which has been defended for countless years, was lost just like that. They were able to sneak in without anyone noticing and set up teleportation arrays and other arrays. They are quite capable. The Red Emperor waved his hand, indicating for Chiwa to leave. Your Majesty, the most important thing now is to quickly take back the Heavenly Tiger Pass. The Heavenly Tiger Pass is a natural defense against the Azure Imperial Dynasty. Against us, they have no way to defend themselves. We can forcefully take it back. An old man stood out and said. Is the Qing Emperor an idiot? The moment Heaven Tiger Pass was lost and the teleportation array was destroyed, Heaven Tiger Pass no longer belonged to us. If we want to take it back, we need to think carefully before we can do it. Does the Green Qilin army have the ability to do that now? The Red Emperor said with narrowed eyes. Chapter 1165. Genius 1 second. Remember, for you to read. Hasn't Nine Heavens army been disbanded for 5 million years? Red Emperor looked at Chiwa with suspicion. It's Nine Heavens army. Sandalwood has appeared, too, Jiang Zheng said. To think that the mad demon Sandalwood could reappear. It seems like the luck of the Azure Imperial Dynasty has changed. Back then, when we went to the Nine Regions world to look for the person of virtue, we were at a disadvantage. The Crimson Emperor thought for a moment before saying. Father, the person leading Nine Heavens army is Knight Sorrow, who came from Nine Zones world. Chiwa looked at Chi-Do. Chi-Do hadn't done his job well, which had led to the current situation. This person is very capable. Since we can't use him, we have to kill him as soon as possible. Pass down my order. Anyone who can kill Knight Sorrow will be rewarded with 1 million contribution points. The Crimson Emperor immediately gave out an order. Chiwa, you will be the commander of Flying Tiger Army. You will be responsible for locking down Sky Tiger Pass. Chi-Do, you will be responsible for building another army. Red Emperor gave another order. The Red Emperor's dynasty's power structure was different from that of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. In the Red Emperor's dynasty, the Red Emperor's princes and grandsons were in charge. This was mainly because the princes of the Red Emperor were very strong, and 2 of them were very outstanding. Chiwa, I won't disappoint you again. 8th brother, I'm sorry. Chiwa bowed to Red Emperor, and then he bowed to another man. It was Red Emperor's 8th son, Chi-Do. He was also the commander of Flying Tiger Army. 4th Imperial Brother is thinking too much. This time, 4th Imperial Brother was plotted against, and Imperial Brother's heart is also uncomfortable. What can I do for 4th Imperial Brother is reasonable. Qi Yan shook his head. Okay, that's all for now. In addition, everyone think of a plan to take back the Heavenly Tiger Pass. If we don't take it back, we will become the laughing stock of the Red Emperor's country in the world of Samsara. Also, Chiwa, take this armor and refine it. After saying this, the Red Emperor threw an armor to Chiwa and disappeared from the main hall. Chiwa's clone had been destroyed, and now it was his main body that was handling matters. He had bestowed the armor upon Chiwa, and the Red Emperor was worried that his son would perish. Chiwa's prestige among the many princes of the Red Emperor was very high, second only to the Crown Prince. His power was only lower than the Crown Prince, and Chi-Do controlled the appointment and removal of officials in the court and had great power. If other princes went to the world of 9 domains and caused such a big mess, the Red Emperor might deal with it. However, because it was Chi-Do, the Red Emperor did not mention anything about it. The construction of the Heavenly Tiger Pass was a big project that could not be completed in 10 days or half a month. However, with the Emperor's Heaven Sealing formation, the defense was very strong. Knight Sorrow was busy for the first few days. After a few days, he relaxed and began to think about the problem, which was how to deal with the captives. He had captured thousands of captives, and among them, there were hundreds of king. After thinking for a long time, Knight Sorrow still could not think of a good way to deal with them. Kill. He did not want to kill them. If he let them go, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. While thinking, Knight Sorrow arrived at the martial arts practice field where the captives were kept. Greetings, Commander. Qin Leitang, who was guarding the captives, led his subordinates and bowed to Knight Sorrow. Brothers, you have worked hard during this period of time. It's time to deal with them. Knight Sorrow sighed and said. No. Commander Knight Sorrow, they're soldiers. They're just following orders and fighting. They haven't committed any crimes. As long as Commander releases my soldiers, I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to do anything for your highness. An old man got down on one knee and cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. Your highness, he is the 7 deadly general. Nu Lin and his subordinates attacked together to subdue him. Those two are also generals. The other general was killed by General Nu Lin. Qin Leitang pointed to the other 2 large meteorite metal cages. In the 2 meteorite metal cages, there were 2 people who were being treated specially. They were tied with meteorite metal chains. Commander Knight Sorrow, these are thousands of hot-blooded soldiers. They are innocent. You cannot kill soldiers who do not have the ability to resist. If you let them go, we will do what the 7 deadly generals said and be loyal to you. The 2 men with meteorite metal chains all over their bodies said. If that is the case, I have another choice. The 3 of you will swear allegiance to the heavenly Tao unconditionally. The 3 of you will swear to the heavenly Tao that you will not harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's empire. When you return, you will shed your armor and serve the people. You will not serve the Red Emperor's empire. Then, you may leave. Knight Sorrow looked at the group of captives and said. Most Zinel Chapter 8 previous PS, alright. A man keeps his word. I, 7 deadly general, will recognize Knight Sorrow as my master from today onwards. I will not betray you. Those who disobey will be struck by lightning. The burly 7 deadly general with a face full of beard swore. The other 2 generals, Ji Feng and Qi Wang, swore as well. To be able to give up everything for your brothers, the 3 of you are worthy of respect. No one has the right to humiliate you. Uncle Summer City, send the 3 of them to the other armies aside from the angry Qilin army. Tell the 3 generals that under my orders, the 3 of them will be deputy generals. When they are familiar with each other, they will be promoted to deputy generals, Knight Sorrow said to Summer City. Understood. Summer City was very excited because Knight Sorrow had easily increased the strength of the 9 Heavens army. General Lei Ting, arrange for them to swear the heavenly Tao oath. Just as I said, those who do not swear will still be enemies in the future. Kill them immediately. Those who swear the oath will be released and treated with kindness. Knight Sorrow said to Qin Leiting. Commander. 7 deadly general was a little anxious when Knight Sorrow did not say to release the captives. Let me make the arrangements first. Knight Sorrow looked at 7 deadly general. The Red Emperor's kingdom. If you do not go, inform the Qing Emperor's officials. Tell them that I want the families of 7 deadly general, Ji Feng, and Qi Wang. Tell them to send their families to the Sky Tiger Pass. I will release a few thousand soldiers of the Sky Tiger army. Knight Sorrow said to Kaifeng again. Thank you, Commander. 7 deadly general and the other 2 bowed to Knight Sorrow. Today is my fault. No matter what the result is, I will personally send you away within a month. I hope you can live a peaceful life with your wives and children by your side. From now on, you will have nothing to do with the war, Knight Sorrow said to the thousands of captives in the meteorite metal cages. Thank you, Commander. The captives, who had seen no hope, bowed. War is inevitable. This is all I can do. Knight Sorrow turned and left. Thank you, Commander. 7 deadly general and the other 2 kneeled again because Knight Sorrow had done everything he could for them. Get up. How should I put it? There are some things you should not know. Summer City shook his head. He was very emotional. How should I address you? You are following the commander. If you have anything to say, please say it. 7 deadly general said to Summer City. All right, then I'll take the liberty of speaking out of turn this time. Actually, His Highness didn't intend to kill anyone when he came this time. He said that it was time to solve the problem. He wanted you to swear a heavenly oath and leave. Who knew that you three would be so agitated? Summer City waved his hand to block the view of the other captives and said to Seven Deadly General and the other two. He felt that the three of them were quite pitiful. Seven Deadly General, Ji Feng, and Qi Wang were stunned. They did not expect this at all. So, the commander said that today was his fault. However, he was very considerate. You have nothing to regret, Qin Leitang said. Chapter 1166. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an interesting novel to read. I, Seven Ju, have no regrets. A defeat is a defeat. It is a blessing to meet such a forgiving general. Gale, Qi Wang, what do you think? Seven Ju looked at Gale and Qi Wang. We are soldiers. We have no regrets. Perhaps this is fate, Gale said. I have some thoughts. It's a trap. Qi Wang said. Don't let anyone else know. Let's forget about this, Summer City said. Yi Shang was really happy. He had taken in 3 brave generals by accident. It was easy to find 1,000 soldiers, but hard to find a good general. Good generals were hard to find. From the fact that 7 absolutes were willing to sacrifice themselves to protect the soldiers under their command, he could tell that they were qualified generals. When they arrived at the commander's office, Knight Sorrow threw a jar of wine to Sandalwood, who was in charge of the office. Junior, what happened? Why are you so happy? Sandalwood asked Knight Sorrow. Senior brother, a meat pie really fell from the sky. Yi Shang told him what had just happened. Although the 3 of them are stupid, they are hot-blooded men. They are all monarch-level generals. You have earned big this time. Green Qilin and Green Phoenix's armies are bullsh *t. Sandalwood knew that this battle had made Knight Sorrow's wings grow. Seven Ju and the others were loyal to Knight Sorrow. In other words, they were Knight Sorrow's personal strength. That's right. A general like this can definitely lead a good army. We didn't give them a chance to use our strategy this time. Otherwise, we would have suffered a great loss, Knight Sorrow said. Although they used tracks, Knight Sorrow didn't think it was an unfair victory. The soldiers were the tracks. Knight Sorrow didn't think it was an unfair victory. Junior, you don't have to worry too much about the army. When there is a big battle, just come out and command. Let the generals of the 9 Heavens army take care of it. They are all very strong. Nu Lin actually has the strength and ability to lead an army long ago. However, in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, only the generals appointed by His Highness and His Majesty can lead an army. He lacks the qualifications, Sandalwood said. Knowing how to use people is what a general should do. I will take care of it. I just don't know if the Red Emperor's country will send the families of Seven Ju and the others. Knight Sorrow nodded and expressed his concern. The military officer will send a letter back to the Empire. Those old officials of the Empire can't fight, but they are good at scheming. The Red Emperor's country also has our Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence network. Even if the Red Emperor's country doesn't want to, they can't ignore the lives of thousands of soldiers. They have to send the families over, Sandalwood said. That's right. If they don't compromise, then who would be willing to continue fighting for the Crimson Emperor Kingdom? Since senior brother has said so, it seems like this matter will succeed. Yi Shang's heart was also more certain. Junior brother, Master went to deal with the Heaven Lock formation again. It's already done, but he doesn't want any flaws. Once he's done, I'll go back with him and serve him for a while. With Elder Xia by your side, I'll be at ease, Sandalwood said to Knight Sorrow. After seeing Knight Sorrow's abilities for the past few days, Sandalwood was relieved. Knight Sorrow had the ability to lead the 9 Heavens army. As for who wanted to kill Knight Sorrow, Summer City wouldn't be easy to deal with. That's good. Senior brother, you should relax. There are many beautiful things in the world waiting for you to discover. Or maybe you can find a wife for me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I will, ha. Sandalwood said with a smile. Sandalwood, you've changed a lot. The Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi walked in from outside. Uncle Xian Daozi, tell me about my changes. Sandalwood bowed to the Qing Emperor and said. I can't say for sure. The strongest change is that I've become more emotional. I'm not like before, who only knew how to kill. Now, I feel more human. Xian Daozi spoke about his feelings. The Qing Emperor nodded. This was the biggest change for Sandalwood. Thereafter, the Azure Supreme the Arch gave Yishang an array disc. It was an array disc used to seal and open the Heaven Lock array. The Heaven Tiger Pass can be said to be impregnable now. It will be very difficult to force your way in. Just be careful of any tricks. I will return now. I understand. Night Sorrow put away the disc array and nodded. Junior brother, I'll go back with Master. Be careful. Sandalwood reminded Night Sorrow. It's good that you're going back. Night Sorrow, didn't I give you a team of Qing Emperor's guards? They'll be your personal guards. You can bring them with you wherever you go. Don't be affected by what happened last time. They were just messing around. The Qing Emperor said. The Qing Emperor had never given anyone a team of Qing Emperor's guards. Neither Qing Lin nor Qing Yuan were qualified. Now, because Night Sorrow wasn't strong enough, the Qing Emperor was afraid that he would be assassinated. Night Sorrow nodded and sent the Qing Emperor, Xian Daozi, and Sandalwood to the teleportation array. After returning to the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Qing Emperor sat in the main seat and tapped his finger on the table. After so many years, I've finally gotten my revenge. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. There's also something that will make revered master feel even better. Junior brother somehow managed to subdue the 3 generals of the Crimson Emperor Kingdom. I'm afraid the Crimson Emperor will feel as disgusted as if he had just eaten a fly. He'll have to eat it, said John Tan. Chapter 1168. In other words, although the commander is a 2-star king, he has the power of a mid-level king? And Ning asked. That's right. That was before I took His Majesty as my master. His Majesty has many secret techniques. Now, the combat power of the commander will only be stronger than before, no weaker than before. Also, this is just a clone of His Majesty, Qin Leitang said. This is really strong. Actually, it is enough that the commander is a good leader. His arrangement today shows that he trusts us enough. He will give us enough space, Wei Wei said. 7 Ju, now that you are following the commander, we are all brothers. In the future, there will be no distinction between us. The commander talked about the 4 of us today. If more than 2 of us object, then the plan will be put on hold. I will change it here. The 5 of us, if we have a plan in the future, we will follow the majority. If we really can't, then we will report to the commander, Nu Lin said. General Nu Lin, is this appropriate? 7 Ju stood up and asked. It is. I will take responsibility if anything happens. Nu Lin reached out and pulled 7 Ju to sit down. He also poured wine for Ji Feng and Qi Wang. This time, the 9 Heavens Army did not give you a chance to fight fair and square. But there is no choice because the commander's strategy has reached this stage. No one can say that the victory was unfair. No one can say that the victory was unfair. In a battle between armies, the commander's strategy and tactical arrangements are the most important. Next is the combat power of the army. The commander of the Sky Tiger Army, Chiwa, is very strong, but this time, there was no chance at all. So, the Sky Tiger Army lost. This should be a classic battle, Chi Wang said. Here, brothers, I wish you all a happy life in the Nine Heavens Army. Nu Lin raised his wine glass. Knight Sorrow also stretched. Things were going well, so there was nothing for him to do. After that, Knight Sorrow patrolled the Sky Tiger Pass, but Summer City and Fei Xiu were following him. Knight Sorrow could not do without them. Summer City said that unless Knight Sorrow was with his wife, she would not leave his side. Fei Xiu also had the same intention. This made Knight Sorrow feel helpless. Inside the Tianhu Pass, Knight Sorrow patrolled the area. Seeing that everything was normal, he wanted to return to the 9 grand floors to see his family and wife. However, he couldn't leave here. High-grade teleportation stones are hard to come by. Why don't we set up a teleportation formation here and connect it to Qing Emperor City and the 9 stories tower? That would be much more convenient. Knight Sorrow said. He was really worried about his family because Sikong Chuyu and Aoi were both pregnant. Ask the people from the Ministry of Works. It's impossible that they don't have the materials. If His Highness has a request, they have to deal with it, said the head of Summer City. Chapter 1170. Qing Yuan knelt on the ground immediately. Letter. Who asked you to hide the letter? Who gave you the guts to hide the prince's letter? The Qing emperor was furious. Qing Yuan knelt on the ground and did not say anything. The resource report was sent together with the letter, and the person who handled it. Do you think I can't find out? Or do you think I don't dare to kill you? The Qing emperor had a murderous look on his face because Qing Yuan had crossed the line. It was me who hid the letter. Father, please punish me. Qing Yuan admitted. After thinking for a while, he knew that if the Qing emperor decided to investigate, he would not be able to run away. Who? Who gave you the guts to hide a prince's letter? The Qing emperor flipped his sleeves and sent Qing Yuan flying. It was my own idea. Qing Yuan got up and said. You don't have the guts. Are you not afraid of death? The Qing emperor looked at Qing Yuan coldly. I am afraid of death, but I have to bear the consequences of my actions. Qing Yuan looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan and said. Father, please forgive my brother. At this time, Qing Shan and some other princes stood out. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were the last to stand out, but they did not say anything. How can I forgive him? How do you think I should forgive him? Continue the endless internal strife after he is forgiven? Take him away. The Qing emperor roared in a low voice. Qing Lin and Qing Wan lowered their heads and did not say anything. They did not dare to say anything. The Qing emperor was furious. No one could touch him. Just as the Azure the Arch Guard was about to pull Qing Yuan out, Yisheng stepped forward and said, Master, can I say something? You want to protect him. You want to protect someone who went against you unscrupulously. The Qing emperor pointed at Qing Yuan. Master, we all know why he did that. His methods were wrong, and he was not righteous. It would also hurt the Qing emperor's dynasty. However, he did not do anything wrong. He fought for his brother. This reason is enough. I'm willing to do anything for my brother, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow's words caused Qing Emperor's body to tremble. He glanced at Summer City and Xian Daozi, then fell into deep thought. You are right. Perhaps Master has overlooked an important issue. I apologize to Knight Sorrow and will return to face the wall for a year. Qing Emperor, who was being pressed down by the Qing Emperor's guard, was stunned for a moment. He bowed slightly to the Qing emperor and then looked at Knight Sorrow. I don't need to apologize to you. From the beginning to the end, I didn't think I was wrong. But I want to thank you. You are indeed worthy of Imperial Father's attention. I hope you can stand firm in the future. I hope you can stand firm. Qing Yuan looked at Knight Sorrow and said a few words before walking out. After a few steps, he stopped and said, I did what I should for my brother. Knight Sorrow knew this would happen. Your Highness, aren't you afraid that His Majesty will punish you? Asked Summer City, puzzled. From the beginning to the end, Knight Sorrow had never been afraid. As long as I am selfless, why would Master punish me? Knight Sorrow smiled. That's right. His Majesty can't wait to support you. Why would he punish you? However, Qing Lin and Qing Yuan have disappointed His Majesty. He is not disappointed that they dealt with you, but that they did not protect Qing Yuan, said Summer City. Knight Sorrow returned to the 9 grand floors. He went home and drank tea while lying on a rattan chair. He was in a very good mood. In the Azure Sky Pavilion, Zhan Tan was brewing tea. Qing Emperor sat on a big chair and thought for a moment. Then, he looked at Xian Daozi and said, What do you think of today's matter? Qing Lin and Qing Yuan, as well as some other princes, did not like Knight Sorrow's power, so they tried to make things difficult for him. His Majesty should know this. However, he did not expect Knight Sorrow to have such a sharp tongue. He said that he had not touched a single bird feather in Sky Tiger Pass for 5 million years, and Qing Lin lost the right to speak. How could those princes refute him? Said Xian Daozi. He has always given people the impression that he is humble. After today, no one will think that he is easy to bully. Junior brother did not want to scheme. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan could not beat him in a battle of wits, so he came up with an idea, said Zhan Tan with a smile. His words also touched those princes. It is a good thing. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan should reflect on themselves. Also, those princes will interact with Knight Sorrow. They will not reject him anymore, said Qing Emperor. That was the truth. When Knight Sorrow was having dinner, Qing Shan came with another man. Prince Qing Shan is here. Please have a seat. Knight Sorrow stood up to receive Qing Shan. Sorry to disturb you. This is my nephew, Qing Yuehe. He is Qing Yuan's son. We are here today to express our gratitude. Also, Your Highness has been in the Qing Emperor's dynasty for so long, and we have not come to pay our respects. We are ashamed. Qing Shan introduced the man beside him to Knight Sorrow. Sit, both of you sit. No need to be so polite. Knight Sorrow invited the two to sit. Your Highness is having dinner. Qing Yuehe looked at the dining table in surprise. Chapter 1171. We don't need to eat, but how should I put it? It's become a habit. In our family, as long as we're not in seclusion, everyone will eat dinner together. That's how it feels like home. It's also a good time to chat with family. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. I'll go back and try it later. Qing Shan was stunned. They were all cultivators. Who would eat? No one would touch it. Imperial Uncle Qing Shan met with my father. It's not convenient for my father, so he asked me to come and thank him. He wanted me to pass on a message. After experiencing some things, he thought it through. Qing Yuehe said. Brother Qing Shan, you all have a misunderstanding. You don't see it and don't think about it. Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Shan and Qing Yuehe and said. Please enlighten us, Your Highness. Qing Shan and Qing Yuehe cupped their hands at Knight Sorrow. The Qing Emperor's dynasty is the Qing Emperor's dynasty. As long as he's alive, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will only have one master. What level is he at? He's as old as the heavens. So what's the point of fighting? Even if we die, he won't have any problems. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words stunned Qing Shan and Qing Yuehe. That was the truth. If the Qing Emperor wasn't old, who could take over? If the Qing Emperor really fell, the Qing Emperor's dynasty would cease to exist. You see things clearly. Your Highness, you're still the one who sees things clearly. In the future, Qing Shan Mansion welcomes your Highness and Madam to visit anytime. Qing Shan cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. Okay. In fact, I'm still very sorry. I don't want to fight for anything, but I've still heard some of the benefits of the imperial family. Night Sorrow said. That's boring. Even if you didn't come, Imperial Father wouldn't see us for decades. If you can make Imperial Father happy, aren't you doing your filial duty for us? Qing Shan said with a smile. After drinking 2 pots of tea, Qing Shan and Qing Yuehe left the gifts and left. They were just here to visit and didn't want to flatter anyone. As the descendants of the Qing Emperor, they didn't need to flatter anyone. In the latest chapter, looks like you've resolved quite a few grudges. Most of the princes won't be hostile towards you anymore. Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side. I'm not afraid at all. In terms of status, I'm His Highness, and I'm not inferior to anyone. In terms of strength, I'm not strong enough, but I have the 9 Heavens Army. Later on, I'll form a personal guard team. If they provoke me, I'll fight back, Night Sorrow said. When Qing Lin and Qing Wan arrived at Qing Lin Palace, their morale was very low. They had lost. They knew that they had lost completely this time. Qing Wan, let's stop fighting for now. We need to think about how we lost to him. We can't fight recklessly anymore, Qing Lin said. Qing Wan understands. Royal brother, please rest first.